I am Mrs. Clémentine Cassi. I'm the president of Happy Nom, funded by the companies was funded. We are a training company. So we provide training in sustainable development and training also in different areas. We teach them how to learn the bee farming. After the training, the bee farmers funded themselves with a lot of product without any buyer. We also notice that when we need local honey, we tend to ask some of our brothers living in the north part of the country if they have some honey. So we provide training in for beekeeping. We train people to beekeeping, how to collect the honey, to buy it, do the packaging, and make it accessible to people. And we provide training and also for literature.
Vertu est très prisé par les firmes pharmaceutiques. Voilà un peu présenté Apinum.
Some of the products are used in the pharmaceutical fields. Welcome to everybody. I was saying that I'm the president of the Happy Nom company, and I'm the president of the National Federation of Beekeepers and everybody who is involved in the beekeeping in Côte d'Ivoire. So we operate in the agribusiness, especially the beekeeping. I'm calling on you to help me to make my project more attractive. And secondly, Happy Nom is looking for subsidies. As well, we talk of environment. Apiculture, beekeeping is also a way to preserve the environment and help people make money and have a good livelihood. If we capture your attention, we want you to help us find subsidies and help bees to survive and keep pollinizing our plants. These subsidies will also help the rural population to diversify their activities, to have some money to be able to send kids to school. This subvention, these subsidies will also help the beekeepers to practice the modern beekeeping in order to avoid bush. We destroy one tree to
besoins
get
minimums pour se protéger.
one
Pour un
swarm
enfimeur, pour sauver les essaims d'abeilles, on met plutôt le
of
feu.
bees.
Et
We put
après, on n'arrive
fire,
pas à maîtriser le feu.
and then
C'est des
after we
villages
can't
et des villages qui
control the
sont
fire,
des exploitations qui vont au feu. Aussi, ces fonds vont aider les
and then
populations
villages are
paysannes,
burnt.
comme les populations rurales, à avoir l'accès
These
facile
subsidies will also help the
aux produits
rural
de la
communities to
ruche, du
get
pollen,
easily access
notamment
to the product
de la propolis, du pollen, de la gelée
of
royale
the
et autres.
rush, the
En fait,
propolis, the
des
pollen,
boutiquets,
the
des produits
royal
cosmétiques et des produits
gels
alimentaires pour la
which are
santé de
used
tous.
in the market.
À ce jour, Apinum forme les intéressés
Apinum
économiques aux
is
nouvelles méthodes
training
d'élevage d'abeilles,
people who are
comme
interested
la
in the modern
transmission
ways
des
of
essaims d'abeilles.
beekeeping to save
Donc,
the swarm of
nous
bees.
avons des projets à court terme et des projets
We
à
have
long
a
terme.
short and longer
Donc,
term
parfois,
project.
c'est des besoins de financement pour réaliser nos projets à court terme et notre
We are
projet long
facing
terme.
a financing need
Ceci dit,
to roll
je
out
vais passer
our
à la
activity on a short and
présentation
long term.
succincte. Comme
This
il m'a
said,
demandé,
I'm going to
la
be short
présentation que aiment voir les bailleurs, les financiers. Donc,
and
je vais
the
faire cette
presentation
présentation. Et dans
for
le
the
fond, on va
funders,
mieux échanger
and
sur
we
les
are
sujets.
going to
Je pourrais vous
discuss
donner
in
vos
length,
attentes.
and I will be able to provide
Je
more
vais passer
information and meet your
à la
expectation.
présentation.
Alors, les slides sont déjà disponibles juste derrière vous.
Ok.
The different slides are already available behind you.
Par rapport au sommaire, nous allons parler de nos problèmes, de la solution qu'on apporte
We are going to talk about
à ce
the
problème,
solution,
les marchés existants,
the existing market,
les concurrents et autres,
the competitors and
l'investissement qu'on
others,
attend
the
et la
investment, the
stratégie qu'on
expected
mettra
investment,
en place
and the
et nos
strategy
prévisions
that we will put in
et je
place
vous
and our financial
soyez
need.
un peu indulgents comme
And
ça va nous aider
I'm requesting your
à
indulgence
comprendre
since
vraiment notre dossier comme vous l'attendez. Donc,
I'm
pour
requesting you
répondre
to
aux
help
problèmes,
me
pouvoir
adjust
pallier à
my
ces problèmes,
project.
on a constaté la pauvreté en zone rurale,
To overcome the
en zone
challenges, we
réservée plutôt,
noticed the
au sens
poverty in a
général.
rural
Donc,
area,
notre
in the
solution
rural
va
areas.
aider à
We thought
élever
that
le
with the
financement
solution
lié
that
aux
we're
populations
providing, we'll be
régionales, aux
able to
populations
increase
rurales.
the livelihood of the
La filière apicole
population living in
existe
rural
peu en Côte
areas.
d'Ivoire. Le miel
The
est vieux comme le temps,
beekeeping
mais
is
ici en Côte
less
d'Ivoire, c'est comme si c'est nouveau.
exploited in Cote
Parce
d'Ivoire.
que jusque-là,
Beekeeping
c'était
is an
particulier.
old activity, but
L'accès était
here in Cote
difficile
d'Ivoire, it
et le
was
produit
the
qui est sur le marché n'est
bee
pas tracé. Donc,
harvesting,
on court des risques
and
à
there
pouvoir
was
consommer.
so the consumption
Notre venue va aider
to be
à
able to
avoir accès aux
consume
produits.
the
Et
bee
il
product,
est
you are
efficace
facing
et
a lot of
disponible.
dangers. So we
Encore
expect
comme
to
problème,
harvest the
on
product
a vu que
and make it available.
l'activité apicole, qui est archaïque,
The
donc
beekeeping
l'apiccueillette,
is done
dégrade
in
l'environnement.
an
On va
archaic
parler tantôt du
way.
feu de
It
brousse, de
degrades the
l'abattage des arbres pour
environment,
un essaim d'abeilles.
the cutting of trees for just one swarm of
Je vous ai
bees,
aussi parlé de la faible commercialisation
also
du miel, que ce soit artisanal ou bien le
the
miel qu'on
low
consomme en Côte
marketing
d'Ivoire.
of the bees, whether it is
Je vous ai
the
aussi
modern
parlé de
one
la
or the
dégradation
former one.
progressive
I talked
de
also
l'écosystème
about
parce qu'on
the
met le feu à la
progressive
forêt et on détruit les
degradation
arbres.
of our environment
Un
because we put
travail qui permet
fire,
de
we
remplacer
create
les bees.
bushfire, and it destroy the bees for a
On a
job
parlé
that can
aussi
be
des
done by
faibles
human
revenus,
beings.
absence
Beekeeping,
d'autonomie financière en milieu rural, de la pauvreté,
I mean bee
et
production.
plus des recours de méthodes rudimentaires de collecte de miel. Voilà, on ne peut pas vraiment vérifier tout ce qui a servi à récolter le miel. Est-ce que
We cannot
c'est des
check
bactéries
and
stérilisées ou
see
pas?
all
Donc,
the
c'est un peu
equipment
ces
that has been
problèmes
used
que
that
nous
have
allons
been used
essayer
to collect
d'aborder
the
en
honey.
apportant des
That's why
solutions,
we
des
created
pistes de solutions.
Apinum
Notre
to try
miel
to
d'abord est
provide
100%
some
naturel,
kind of solution.
contrairement
Our
au miel que
honey
nous
is
trouvons sur le
100%
marché
natural.
international parce que nos abeilles sont
Compared
des
to
apis
the
endogènes,
honey
ce sont des abeilles
that it
naturelles
is
qui
found
vont sur
on
les
the
plantes
market. Our
naturelles
bees
et
go
qui nous
to
rapportent
natural
du miel
plants and
Ce n'est
bring
pas du
back
miel synthétique,
natural,
c'est pas du miel fabriqué dans la ferme.
100% natural
Donc, le
honey.
miel, il est 100% naturel,
It
il
is
est
not a
issu de
processed
Côte d'Ivoire.
honey. It is
Et en
manufactured here in Côte
organisant
d'Ivoire.
les
And
apiculteurs,
by
moi, à cause du
organizing
fait que je suis la présidente de la
beekeepers,
Fédération
I was
nationale
saying
des
that I'm the
apiculteurs,
president of the National
on
Federation of
organise aussi certaines
Beekeepers.
coopératives.
We
Et
organize
je suis
them in
relayée par le
cooperative
Société
companies. And
nationale des
in
éleveurs
this
du
sense,
FICA.
we receive the
Donc, on les
support of
forme en
the
société
FICA, which is a
coopérative.
private
Mais le FICA, c'est juste
institution,
la
a
formation
national
pour les aider à
institution.
s'insérer.
The
C'est-à-dire que
FICA
eux, ils
provide
suivent le matériel
training
pour
that,
qu'ils mènent
but
à bien.
they are not able to provide them
Et
some equipment
on s'est
to
dit que notre présence
install
technique
after to
moderne
create the company after the
aux
training.
apiculteurs va
So the
permettre
modern techniques that we teach
l'assistance
to
à
the
l'abeille
beekeepers
pour
will
la
allow
pollinisation des plantes,
the
donc la protection de
pollination of
l'environnement
the plants,
et la sauvegarde de la
the protection
biodiversité.
of the environment, and the safeguard of our
En vulgarisant cette
ecosystem.
activité, on rend le miel
By
accessible
disseminating this
pour les
activity,
familles,
you
que
make
ces
the
personnes-là
honey
puissent
accessible to
bénéficier des
everybody so that
vertus.
they can all benefit
Et les
from the
méthodes
from the
appliquées
advantages
dans notre
of the
cas, ce sont
honey.
les méthodes
The
modernes.
method that we're using are
Pour l'aider
modern
pour se
ones.
protéger, donc éviter
One,
les nids d'abeilles et tout le matériel qu'il faut pour que le miel soit
the
protégé.
clothing
Et dans la
and
démarche,
all the method
on
that we
puisse
use,
tracer le miel.
and also in our
Sinon, le
process
marché, il est
to
vraiment
track the
inexistant.
honey.
On
The
travaille en
market
mode
is
confiance.
available.
Personnellement, à
We
Pinom,
work
je travaille avec des
full
supermarchés,
time.
des hôtels,
Apinum is working
des
with
stations-service.
supermarkets, hotel,
On se
and
reproche le fait qu'on ne fait pas assez de
gas station.
publicité. Justement, on ne veut pas mettre à chaque
People
fois,
say that
comme c'est un
we are
produit
not
naturel. C'est peut-être
doing a
qu'ils ont
lot of
compris.
adverts,
À faire trop la
but
publicité,
since it
on
is
va
not
peut-être pas
it is a
satisfaire
natural
le besoin
product. If we do
de personnes en
adverts,
face. Et
we
donc,
will
on
not be
aura
able
des
to
gens qui vont
meet
dire,
the
on ne peut pas
demand
aller
that will come from the
sur
market.
le
And people
marché.
will say, we
Et il faut
speak,
dire que
but
quand
we do not
les
provide
apiculteurs produisent
the
du miel,
product.
on
And we have to
achète
say
le
that
miel.
when
On achète
beekeepers
selon le
produce
planning
their honey,
fixé
we
qu'on
buy
a et on
the
n'arrive
honey
pas
with our
à
money,
pouvoir vendre le
and
miel
we are
tout
not
l'année.
able to sell the honey during the
Certains
course of the
apiculteurs
whole
en
year.
Savoie sont les apiculteurs traditionnels qui sont en nombre
So we have
important
the
dans la région.
traditional beekeepers.
Et très souvent, ils ont hérité de ce métier-là des ancêtres.
Most of the time, they
Donc, leur pratique
inherited
était
this
des outils de
practice
la forêt.
from their
Et
ancestors,
des
and
apiculteurs
this
autochtones qui
practice
sont en nombre
is
très réduit,
detrimental to the
qu'on a pu
forest.
former grâce
And the
à
one who
l'ONFP ou grâce au FICA.
benefited from our training with the help of FICA, the number
Pour donner à nos clients, je vous disais
is
qu'on
very
vend dans
low.
les grandes surfaces, les
To come back to
supermarchés,
our client,
les
I'm
hôtels, les
saying we sell
stations-service et
in
autres. On
hotel,
a encore d'autres
supermarket,
marchés
gas
à
station,
prospecter. On a
and
fait beaucoup de
others,
prospections.
restaurants. We are
On a
also doing
approché
some prospection.
l'ambassade
We're
de la
looking for more
Mauritanie
customers.
avec 3000 boutiques.
We
On les a
contacted the
touchés
embassy
et
of
cette quantité
Mauritania
va
to
nous
be
aider
able
vraiment
to
qu'on a pu.
supply the honey
On a
to
encore d'autres marchés
all
qu'on
the
n'a pas
shops.
même pu satisfaire. Nos concurrents, le premier concurrent, c'est
About the
l'institution
competitors, our
internationale.
main
Ce
competitor is an
sont
international
des Françaises.
company, the
Et vous
French
allez
company,
constater que
and you will notice
eux,
that
le miel a toujours le même parfum et la même couleur.
the honey has
Pour
the
des produits
same
naturels, ce n'est pas possible.
perfume and
Seulement en
the same
décembre,
smell,
la
if
même
you and
qualité
the
de
same
mangue, la
texture.
même race, si on peut dire comme ça. Si vous
It's like
l'achetez
buying honey
en
mango
février ou en juin,
in
c'est pas pareil.
February
Soit
and
parce qu'il
June.
pleut
It is not
trop,
the
ça
same
va pousser ou
taste
bien il y a le
because it
soleil. Donc
rains a
c'est ça qui
lot,
fait le naturel.
or
On ne peut pas
you have a
avoir du
lot
miel
of
toute l'année du même parfum, du même goût.
sun, so we
Des
can't have the
exotiques comme
same
les
honey
boissons, des sucreries que j'ai
which
là-bas.
has the
Vous allez
same
toujours le
color
trouver
and
dans tout
taste
le
the
monde, vous
whole
partez.
year.
À la seule différence qu'il y a le goût de l'eau qui change, mais ce sont des formules, donc c'est toujours pareil.
It's the
Mais pour
same
les miels à
in the context
toujours
of
cette qualité,
alcohol,
le
but
même parfum, le même goût,
the honey of the
le miel ne
competitor has
change
the
pas
same
parce que c'est
color,
naturel, on
the
n'a
same
rien du tout.
taste, the same smell.
Donc, on a cette structure
But for
différente,
us,
on n'est
it's
pas des
different. We have
concurrents
different
de
qualities
nature.
because it's natural.
Et
We can, I don't want to say the name of the company. We also have other companies coming from Africa, from Senegal. In Côte d'Ivoire, we have two other companies in.
Bon, comme stratégie de mise en place pour la réduction de l'impact
As a
environnemental,
strategy to
actuellement,
put in
nous
place
utilisons
to
l'appui cueillette. Les activités d'appui
reduce
permettent
the
de
environmental
réactiver
impact,
l'environnement. En ce
the
sens, qu'elles
the
stimulent la
activities of
pollinisation et donc la
Apinum
productivité
do not
des
have a negative
écosystèmes
impact, and
ambiants.
it works as a
Également, la
stimulus for
technologie
the
déployée pour réduire les
biodiversity,
dégâts
and also the
déchets
technology used
facilite
by
l'extraction de
Apinum
miel et ces déchets sont
only
réutilisés
provide
pour en fabriquer des
waste
produits
that are
cosmétiques.
used
Personnellement,
after
la
for
structure
in the cosmetics.
ne détruit pas du tout l'environnement.
So Apinum, the
Et
activities
comme besoin
on
enfin,
the working strategy of
à court terme,
Apinum do not
nous avons
destroy the
un budget
environment.
de
On
270
the short
millions
term, we need
pour
270
automatiser
million
notre processus de production. On a juste une doseuse
to
et on peut passer toute la journée
automate our
à doser
process of
peut-être 2 tonnes,
production.
alors qu'il y a des
The
doseurs
whole day we can produce
qui
2
lancent des
boxes,
produits et qui vont
whereas
continuer pour pouvoir avoir
you
jusqu'à
can have
1500
equipment that helps you get
pots de miel
100
qui
and
sont prêts
500
à livrer à vos clients.
honey to deliver
Aussi,
to your
on a
clients.
participé grâce à pas au CPC, grâce à l'APEXI, à une
With
rencontre
the
qui nous
help
a
of
permis un peu de
Apexi,
représenter
we
là-bas
attended
notre miel. On a eu
a meeting in
des
the
pays
UK, in
entiers qui
US.
souhaiteraient travailler avec nous
We
et
had
nous ont
some
donné leurs principes.
big
C'était
supermarkets
pourquoi
who were
d'avoir
ready
un
to work with
véhicule
us.
qui va
The
jusqu'à
condition was
l'agriculteur
that
pour prendre la
we
miel
needed to
et
have
l'emporter. En
a
plus de
vehicle
cela,
to go to
sur le
pick the
chemin,
honey
on doit
from
avoir
the
au moins des
beekeeper
déplacements
to the
jusqu'à
shop.
avant
And
que
also we need
l'agriculteur
to
se rende
have
parce qu'il
a
faut
means
pouvoir prendre
of,
un véhicule frigorifique
we
et
need a
passer.
vehicle
Donc, pour arriver à cette fin, on prévoit aussi, on voudrait pouvoir acheter des véhicules
we would also like to buy a vehicle
pouvoir transporter notre miel et toujours dans le sens de la traçabilité du produit. Et puis, à long terme, nous envisageons recueillir un fonds
on the longer
de,
term.
on va dire que c'est gros,
We
2
expect
milliards.
to
C'est pour
collect
construire un
2
centre
billion
d'agriculture
to
durable
build
pour toute la
a
sous-région.
sustainable
On a été très, vraiment
beekeeping
sollicité par la
center
plupart des
in the
producteurs de
sub-region.
la Guinée
We
équatoriale. Pour le Gabon, le Cameroun, ils se disent que
we
bon, la Côte
initiated
d'Ivoire
projects for Gabon
doit
and
être améliorée
Cameroon.
sur beaucoup de choses par rapport au site web qu'on a, notre communication
They
qu'on fait dans ce sens.
consider that
On a
we are
sollicité
more
beaucoup. Donc, on a
advanced
trouvé
in
qu'il
this
est
area.
nécessaire
So we found
d'avoir
that
un
it was
centre
necessary to have a center,
d'apiculture avec à
a
l'intérieur
beekeeping
un
center
incubateur
with
pour mener
an
des recherches
incubator for
et
research
aider ceux qui sont dans cette activité
and
à
help
transformer.
the
Parce qu'à
actors to
partir de nos
transform.
produits, on
Because
peut
from our product,
créer des produits cosmétiques, comme je disais
we
tantôt,
can
des huiles
create
aromatiques et autres, et même aussi fabriquer des ruches.
cosmetic
Pourquoi pas?
products.
Donc, en gros, voilà ce que je voudrais dire et je
So
vous attends pour les
this
questions.
is what I can say in
Merci.
summary.
Je pense qu'on peut les applaudir. Merci, Madame Kassi.
Please put your hand together.
Alors, je vais demander, après la belle intervention de Madame Kassi, au jury, aux panélistes et au public de bien vouloir apporter leur contribution.
I'm going to
Si
ask the jury and
je vais
the
demander
participants to
à
provide
l'équipe,
their
nous avons sur la plateforme digitale Monsieur Rubert
contribution.
Izibizar.
We
Nous
have
avons
Mr.
aussi
Hubert Izibizar. If he
qui
wants to
m'accompagne
say
également de
something,
l'équipe technique.
you can
On va
contact
directement aux
the
questions
technical team.
présentielles.
Otherwise, we will take the question
Est-ce
on
qu'on
the
peut avoir un
floor.
micro pour le public? Ok. Je demande à ce qu'on apporte un micro. Nous avons des questions dans la salle.
I'm requesting a microphone. We have question in the room.
Merci.
Thank you for giving me the floor. Thank you. Hello, Madame Kassi. Congratulations for this presentation, and congratulations also for your honey. I tasted it and it is of good quality. You seem to be looking for subsidies based on your presentations. Maybe why don't you look into your activity to see what you're doing? You said you're working full-time. That means you don't have an issue selling your product. I understand that you need 270 million to get some materials. But will you have the capacity of raw material to make this exploitation profitable? You said what you're able to do with the minimum means that you have. But what if you acquire the equipment you're looking for? You will just operate over 2 days and then the rest of the time you won't be doing anything. You said you're working with a network of producers. I heard an expression that I didn't know here. They say the more you far from the cocoa, better you are. Do you ensure sustainability? They say that the closer you are to the beekeeping activity, the closer you are from the beekeeping activity, the better you are. You allow me, thank you, to elaborate on my activities. Commercial banks, I consider them as business companies, just as Apinum. People buy products and expect profits. For us, we are looking for subsidies because it is a support to protect the environment. Who will provide such help to provide assistance? The 2 billion we're looking for is to help beekeepers to get a beekeeper needs 25 rush. You have to buy the other equipment. We need money to buy the smokehouse. If I take the guarantee to help those 2,000 people establish a business, if you ask the people who are operating in the cocoa sector, if you give money to the farmers, if you give them money, they will tell you that they don't have money to practice the activities. So in a practical way, we have more bees, more protection of our environment. That is why I'm not going to see a commercial bank. Commercial banks, when they give you money, they're waiting for an income, a return on investment. At the end of the month, you start reimbursing, even if they give you a delay or timeline, it's just 3 months. I don't want to say that I started with 5,000 and then I'm 100 million. I'm providing 100 million benefit. We have 2 periods of harvesting from March to May. which is a big period, and the smaller one is October to November. And in the training, we tell them to take part in the bigger harvesting period, because honey do not produce to the consumption of human beings, but it is for their own consumption when there is no pollen. So we go, you human being, we go to steal from them. So we do not take everything. So in the period of the year, you need a lot of money to capture a lot of honey. Otherwise, the one you are going to find on the market, the price will be doubled. And for the honey, you also need money for the conditioning, for the packaging. I'm sorry, but the honey is like the wine. The better packaging is the green. It is a packaging of luxury. So you need more money to buy the honey and also the working capital. You can buy during the day 100 tons of honey, but you don't sell all of them, but the bank is there waiting for the return on investment. So it is money that we are supposed to keep and reimburse over 2 years. Speaking about the beekeepers, it is like anybody in the city. When we see that an activity is working well, if I'm able to make money and I buy lots of honey, the whole family also get into it, and all the villages around start doing the same activity. We have people who have been able to sell the product, build the house, and put the school to put the children to school. They have more money now, so we need lots of money to help them achieve this state of living. I don't know whether I provided answer to your question. Thank you.
Ok, nous allons prendre quelques questions, mais avant, nous avons Monsieur Hubert Uzibiza qui est connecté, qui est un panéliste.
We also have Mr. Robert Rebiziza, who is connected, and I will invite Nathalie Hilton, who is going to also speak. Mr. Hubert, is you ready?
Merci bien, Silvio.
Thank you very much, Silvio.
À la présentatrice
Thank you to the presenter of the project, and congratulations to the whole team of Green Days Africa.
Très belle plateforme pour
It is
échanger, discuter sur la thématique verte et le financement de projets verts.
It is a good platform to talk about green financing.
Je ne suis pas expert forcément dans
I must say that I'm not an expert of everything related to beekeeping, but the issue of the SMEs
reste en fait les dénominateurs communs aux petites et moyennes entreprises.
The common ground regarding the SMEs are almost homogeneous. They look like whether we are on the north, south, or western or eastern part of the Africa. I would have appreciated to have a panel of financiers, investment funds, development partners to understand the need.
De notre ami partenaire dans le domaine de l'apiculture. La raison est la suivante, c'est que les banques ne sont pas forcément les meilleurs partenaires.
Banks are not necessarily the best partners in the short or in the immediate for this kind of project. In other regions of the world, or the continent, we develop at least what we call the green incubators to allow the development of bankable projects and to support these small companies to to mobilize working capital for the development. So it is a combination of technical assistance and crowdfunding with a rate of return of 0% and also patient capital, as we call it. And banks get into the project to facilitate the daily operations and not necessarily a long-term operation in a sense of patient capital. I understand the problem of the entrepreneur in this sense is how do I move from one level to another and maintaining a certain level of competitiveness and respond to the demand without impacting negatively my balance sheet. You have to work with an advantage ecosystem. We have to establish green incubators. Green incubators which will be able to attract subsidies to be able to implement these kinds of projects. So the directors of these incubators will have access to financial institutions. We also need to promote instruments adapted to the size of these companies. So due to the smaller size of the companies who are also subject to at the mercy of big financial institutions that necessarily don't have the same approach, or the business model of these institutions is not adapted to the project they are facing, they have in front of them. This is the first thing. The second thing, once we move to a certain size, it means we will need more financing. We also need to develop at the national level some green SMEs and also be able to mobilize some equity on the foreign market.
I think it's exactly the situation, the natural situation of a child who walks. Before walking, you learn how to walk, but you learn by yourself. You don't learn from somebody how to learn how to walk, how to speak, to use your tongue. So you need to have a good financial partner to assist you step by step in the development of your project. And you know, you are more familiar than me with the realities that are taken into account, the interest raised, the business environment, which is not always conducive, or should I say, the bad perception of business in the environment where you are. So there are several aspects that the entrepreneur has to understand, and also to have an adapted financial support. This is where I want to stop to give other people the opportunity to say something.
Est-ce que nous avons des questions dans le public?
Now, do we have questions from
On va se passer le
the
micro.
audience?
Ce sont des questions.
Well, so
Madame Cassie va pouvoir intervenir. Et nous allons prendre aussi l'avis et la contribution de Madame Nathalie.
we are going to pass the microphone around the room.
Je m'appelle Sébastien du ministère de l'Agriculture. Je voudrais véritablement en tout cas remercier
Well, I'm from the Ministry of Agriculture.
d'encourager justement
I
ce
really want to thank the lady for her presentation and this initiative that she has presented. She mentioned something
concurrence
important,
internationale
which
aussi.
is
Il y a les
competition.
acteurs nationaux, il y a les acteurs de la sous-région et même la concurrence internationale. Là, je parle un peu sur le contrôle
You know, there is a
des normes
strong and fierce
concurrence, aussi la
competition in the
concurrence
sub-region and even at international
sur
level. And I think competition
voilà, je pense
is
également à
an essential factor for the
la
survival of a
concurrence
company. So
France
my question to you, madam, is to know
aussi en termes de
if you have
compétition
a good
parce
picture
que
of
en
the
termes de
competition in which you
au
are,
niveau
and in terms of
elles ont pris l'ampleur
market
sans
share.
nécessiter justement
Do
certains
you have a
de
full
survie
picture of
parce que
how
si
important
elles
uh,
pouvaient parvenir justement à éliminer la concurrence,
competitors are
elles estimaient que
important
cela
in, I mean,
allait
how important
parvenir
competitors are
en
in
optant pour l'un
the process
et
of
aussi sans
developing
nécessiter
your
un employeur qualifié.
business, because it's not only about starting a
Parce que
business
ce qui
but
va séduire,
working in a sustainable
c'est de bien savoir
approach.
quel
So,
terme d'abord
to this
cette
regard,
concurrence est subie à l'échelle
what is your
globale.
perception of
Maintenant, le deuxième
the
élément,
situation
je crois,
uh,
une
of
compétition
this
plus
competition
organisée.
in which you are?
J'ai
Second
pu comprendre
thing
que le
I
produit
want to say
final, le
is
produit
that
fini,
I understood that the
donc de la production
uh,
finale.
honey
Et en même
is
temps,
a natural
il y a des
product.
sollicitations qui vont dans le sens de l'automatisation de
You
leur process. Que ce
also
soit le
spoke
process
about
manufacturier,
the need
que ce
for
soit de
automated
transformation, comme cela a été dit en ce qui concerne
process,
aussi le
which
produit naturel.
refers
En
to
quoi consiste
uh,
véritablement le processus
equipment.
de transformation
So
qui
if
aujourd'hui d'être automatisé.
uh, it could, it would be good for us to understand how the process. I mean, what is the process for production of honey?
Encore merci pour la présentation,
Thank you
madame.
once again for the presentation.
Vous avez parlé dans votre
You
introduction
spoke
d'avoir un
about
produit naturel. Je pense que vous avez la
having a natural
certification parce
product.
qu'avec cette
I think
certification, ça pourra vous
you
permettre dans le
have.
market de
I don't know if
l'émergence
you
de
have
réinventer votre modèle
you
économique.
have the
Parce que la certification, elle
certification,
va
because it is
permettre
important
à ceux qui
to
en ont
have it.
besoin
With the certification,
de pouvoir s'appuyer
you
sur cela.
will
Et puis, bon, quand vous prenez votre modèle
give
économique,
more
quelle
credibility
partie
to your product in terms of
quelle
quality.
partie est clé à
Now,
cet élément?
when you
Là, je
prepare
pense
your
qu'on peut
economic
parler de
model
financement. Parce que votre
for
certification vaut le coup
fundraising, I
d'investissement.
think
C'est juste par
it will
rapport à ça.
be very important and efficient for you to have this certification.
Moi, je vous remercie infiniment. Je suis une amoureuse du miel
Thank you.
et donc je suis vraiment ravie de voir
I'm
que
very fond of
la
honey, so
coopérative
uh,
a acté
I
que
see
c'est
that the sector is
vraiment
getting organized and it's a good thing.
important.
I,
C'est un
I'm
modèle
sorry that you criticized
que
your
vous appelez le modèle
international competitors. You know,
supérieure.
I'm
Je suis
really fond
quelqu'un
of
qui fait du miel de
honey.
colza. Il est toujours
I'm
aussi
from
bon.
a family where we
Et puis, je comprends et
produce
que je le vis
colza
parce
honey,
que c'est un
and
miel
I
qui
know
vient
that this
de
type of
fleurs de la
honey
terre.
is
Et donc, il y a
totally
différents types
natural, and
de miel de
well,
fleurs. Il y a
you
miel
know,
un peu
we
blanc
have
de
different
moringa.
types of honey depending on
Miel de moringa.
where we are and
Votre
which
initiative, elle est très belle.
situations
En termes de
we are
présentation, alors ce que
in.
vous nous avez
I
demandé,
think your initiative is a
c'est
good
assez
one in terms of
difficile.
presentation. You know,
Moi, il y
you
a un mot que
are
j'aime bien
expecting us
entendre, c'est
to
le mot
uh,
biodiversité.
criticize your
Grâce
presentation. I
à
was
votre
expecting to hear
expérience qui est très
the word
large, en
biodiversity
fonction
because you
de la
said protection of the
spécificité
environment. But you know, when we speak about
utilisée,
bees,
c'est grâce
they
à
have a
elle
very
que notre
specific
vie
function,
se maintient.
uh,
Et dans le contexte actuel
and they
aujourd'hui,
play a
on a
great
besoin
role
de
in
biodiversification des
biodiversity,
sols.
the protection of
On a besoin de
biodiversity.
l'hydrogène. Donc ça, c'est
And
aussi
I think
un fort
your
argument de force
presentation
pour
normally was
effectivement
a
le
good
développer,
opportunity
parce qu'il
to
pourrait être
highlight
contraignant en même temps
the
qu'utile
contribution of
avec
bees
la
and
biodiversité.
your
Donc
activity to
merci
the
infiniment
preservation of
de
biodiversity.
ces espèces
Now,
recueillir des millions de
uh,
CFA pour obtenir
regarding
un
the
label international, puisque
label,
malheureusement,
I think
voilà,
for you to have
donc
an international
il n'y a
label,
pas
you
de
will certainly need to spend much money. So for the time being, that's not where you are, and I think it's a right time for you to think about diversification. Like I said, I'm fond of honey, and unfortunately, I've not been able to find too many good quality honey here, and so there is a real market. There's a real opportunity. If you can create some value, then you will certainly improve your income. These are my feelings about your presentation. I think it is an interesting project. Now, the approach that you mentioned about waiting for equipment before uh, heading to international market is exactly what must be done. But I also think that you shouldn't have in your plan uh, uh, your plan. I mean, your plan should not be to give everything to the beekeeper, because if you do that, then he will fail to exercise responsibility or accountability, and it might end up uh, in a way that you didn't expect. Sometimes coming to uh, the production of honey and the quality, what happens here on the market is that people will mix the honey with water. So it's important to pay attention to that, not to get into such. Uh,
Alors, est-ce que nous avons d'autres questions? Sinon, on m'a fait parvenir une question de la part des internautes.
I have one question
La
from
question est
our
les avantages du
participants
cannabis pour la
online.
santé et
Have
cela met
you
fin aux
identified
de votre projet.
the
Et leur dire,
scope of this
pouvez-vous nous en dire plus?
social, and uh,
Merci.
have you assessed the impact of your activity
Avant
on
les deux
the
premiers intervenants, j'ai pu bien suivre que c'est
health
une femme
of the
socio-féministe.
consumers?
Voilà.
Thank you.
Effectivement, j'ai
I
avancé que le
think I
développement
got your
massif du
point.
miel international
I
est nécessaire.
mentioned the
Ils
the
ont cet
negative
avantage
side
qu'ils
of
font
the
le miel
international honey
international dans les pays vraiment développés
only.
qui ont des
That's
campagnes
true.
de faire le miel
Those who are in
collectif.
developed
Ils
countries,
arrivent
they have
facilement
the
à faire des
possibility
transhumistes.
to
Ici, en
produce
Côte d'Ivoire, pour
honey
faire des transhumistes, on n'a
easily.
pas les moyens nécessaires. On peut
In
faire
Cote
avec des
d'Ivoire,
abeilles, des
we
autres,
have
mais on n'a pas
limited
les abeilles. On n'a pas des
means,
véhicules
and
grillagés, on n'a pas les
in
palettes
such
qu'il faut
context,
pour transporter ces
we are not
ruches.
able
Ici, dans
to
notre rucher, on peut
transport
venir
the.
arracher ou bien utiliser les pesticides pour ces autres plants. Puisque ici,
We
juste
don't
ici,
always
je
have the
peux
possibilities that
n'acheter
are
que la
offered
pomme de
to
terre. J'ai déjà fait
beekeepers
passer
in
des
Europe or
pesticides
in
ici.
Western
Mais
countries,
on n'a pas les
where
moyens de faire
they
pousser
have
les
uh,
forêts sur place.
the
En plus, même si
more
on fait la
facilities and
transhumission
more
ruche par ruche, vous ne pouvez pas
opportunities.
checker en face qu'il
And
faut
even
déjà un
though
étage.
you should,
C'est ça notre problème. C'est ce qui
uh,
fait que nos abeilles vont seulement sur les plantes à fleurs et nous apportent les fleurs le parfum qu'il faut. Mon miel, il est par exemple miel
so
toute fleur.
sometimes if you have to mix or to put together two beehives, um, there might be some difficulties, because one honey producer might not be open to this possibility of having the two beehives together. You know, there were similar difficulties, like for example, in the cashew production, the cashew apple. You know, the
L'excès de glucose dedans cristallise le miel. Les
byproduct
Ivoiriens ne connaissent
that
pas le miel cristallisé.
are,
Ils tombent des nues quand ils voient un miel cristallisé. Ils disent c'est du sucre.
sometimes
Il va falloir qu'on rentre dedans
because
pour leur expliquer
Ivorian
que
people
c'est
do
pas
not
le miel
know
bon.
the different qualities of honey.
Le miel cristallisé.
Sometimes when they
Il faut faire le
see
miel
the
cristallisé.
um,
Il y a ça à expliquer.
some varieties of honey,
pour
they
revenir
are
sur le
reluctant
fait
to
que
consuming it
on doit
because they
pouvoir
are not familiar with it.
transformer
And this is
le
something that
riz
we
et
have
les
to
autres produits de
educate
la
people
maison. Si
on.
vous arrivez chez
Now
nous dans
you
notre galerie,
we
on a
came
des
about the
sucreries
processing of
en
honey. If
quantité,
you go
en
to
nombre.
our
Nous avons des
facilities, you will
produits
see that we have
notamment
a
si vous
good quantity of honey that we
quand vous allez
collect,
certaines
and
maisons, on voit des sociétés miel, des
sometimes
savons là
part
qui
of
vendent
this honey
du
is
miel.
kept
Et c'est juste un
uh,
sachet. Nous, on a du miel en quantité pour y mettre. Mais par rapport à la
because
sonification, il faut certaines machines. Donc, c'est
it
pour
is
ça que
the quality of honey that we think can be used
à
to
diversifier
make soap or
euh,
beauty
nos produits et de rendre
products.
le miel
But
plus
because
et
we
pouvoir
don't
transformer
yet
le miel.
have the necessary equipment to do it,
Je vais peut-être
we
revenir
cannot,
sur
we are
certaines
not
choses.
able to
On
do
a
that
parlé, monsieur qui a parlé
yet.
de la
Now,
certification.
coming
C'est pas
to
trop
the
facile.
answer of the
Nous,
gentleman who
notre
spoke about
certification, en fait,
certification, you
c'est
know, what we
rendre
have
accessible
been doing so
le
far
miel
is to
terrestre. Mais pour la
make
certification,
the
ça va
honey
avec le
accessible,
concours du ministère
honey
de
that can be
l'Agriculture
traced.
et
Now,
le
when it
ministère
comes to
des
certification,
Pharmaceutiques, dont
this
on
is something
parlait.
that we can do with the contribution of the
Le ministère de
Ministry of
l'Élevage. Donc, on
Agriculture
aimerait savoir quels
or the
sont
Ministry of
les ingrédients, les intrants, les
Water
pesticides que les gens
Resources.
utilisent. Mais ça fait
And
plus
for
maintenant
this to
de
be
5
done, we
ans.
need
Donc,
to
c'est
know
difficile de
exactly
dire
what
qu'il
types of
faut
input and fertilizers
stabiliser
or
notre miel, de
pesticides
certifier
are
notre miel.
used.
C'est
With
avec
all
les
these
paramètres
parameters,
des
it's difficult
administrations. Nous,
to
nous pouvons le faire. Vous savez que le concours
receive a
vient de
certification without the contribution of the
pour
state. In
transformer
Cameroon,
nos
in Benin,
machines
they did
avec
it, but with the
le miel
support of
d'espèce.
the
Après, il n'est pas dit que c'est
government.
le
And
type de
here,
machine
anytime we try to do something with the
qui
support of
arrive.
our
C'est pas facile.
ministry, uh,
Voilà.
line
Voilà la
ministry,
certification.
you know,
Maintenant,
there will
pour
be some
monsieur du ministère de
uh,
l'Agriculture,
new
les
officials who will be
agriculteurs vont
appointed
sûrement
in the
travailler.
ministry, and
Je
we
dirais
will
plutôt que c'est
be
écrit
starting everything over again.
avec les ancêtres.
Now, what I said regarding the local
Avec le
beekeepers in
courrier,
rural
il y
areas,
a
generally
des
speaking, these people
informations
have
que
learned
on a
this
eu
from
à les récolter
their
et à les
uh,
former.
fathers or forefathers.
Et par
It's
la
only
suite,
now,
toutes
with
les
the
nourrissons
contribution
quelque
of
part
the
qui sont productrices de
honey
miel,
production
ils produisent
organization,
aussi
are we
du
able
miel.
to
Et la présidence
gather
demande même
them
beaucoup
and
à la
train
transformation
them
de l'acide.
in a
Ça
more
vient avec
scientific
les abeilles,
way?
donc ça menace
You
le miel.
know, when you
Donc, moi,
start
je dirais que
producing honey,
c'est un
you
marché qui est à prendre. Il y a beaucoup de
you
personnes qui peuvent venir dans cette activité pour
put
pouvoir
yourself in
gagner leur
conditions
vie.
to go
Les autres pays,
uh, on
bon, la
a
Côte
market
d'Ivoire est un
that
pays
is
qui est
existing.
ouvert où tout le
You know,
monde
Cote
peut
d'Ivoire is an open country
s'installer.
where
Donc, il y a
everyone
beaucoup de
can
choses qui
come
peuvent
and
venir.
start
Il n'y a pas de barrière faite pour dire
any
c'est seulement
activity.
les
There's
pays
no
ouverts.
barrier
Pour même rentrer dans les supermarchés,
for
que
the
ce
protection or
soit
promotion of
les
local
grands groupes, on a
products
fait au moins
only.
3 ans
Whenever you go in, I
tous
mean,
les jours, on
before
envoyait des
we were
échantillons, des cartons, des
authorized
cartons
in
d'échantillons afin
uh,
qu'ils acceptent de
malls and
produire.
supermarkets,
Mais c'est eux qui nous
it took
imposent même
us
le prix
3 years.
euh,
And
d'achat.
even after that,
Si vous dites
you
que
know,
pour que
the
je puisse avoir un
price
bénéfice, il me faut
that
tel
our
prix.
products are going to
Vous
be
voyez déjà
sold
où
in
le
those
miel, c'est là qu'est
supermarkets
venu le miel.
are decided by those
Traditionnel,
supermarkets. Because if you
burkinabé,
want to insist on the price that you
Côte
want to
d'Ivoire,
apply,
Sénégal et autres.
then
Donc, on
they
a
will just
besoin de
refuse,
transformer au
because
prix
they
qu'ils nous
can
imposent.
get the honey from
Et
other
c'est pourquoi
countries, other producers
j'ai pas
from other
exploré le
countries,
riz.
Burkina,
J'ai
Mali.
plus loin.
And this is a situation
Et
that gives
j'aimerais
us
de voir
very
des
few
agriculteurs qui
uh,
produisent et derrière, il n'y a pas
possibilities.
assez
And
d'acheteur.
it's
Puisque
very
les
painful
premières
to
étapes, c'est que
see
la Côte d'Ivoire puisse vendre. La Côte d'Ivoire
producers
ne financement
producing
pas sur les
honey
pays qui sont
without
autorisés à
any
exporter du miel.
market that
Parce
could
qu'il n'y a pas
absorb
encore
all this production. And Cote
une
d'Ivoire is not
signature entre
even
la Côte d'Ivoire
um,
et puis les
uh,
autres marchés au niveau international.
signatory of any agreement,
On a
international
eu
agreement
l'Organisation
with any other country,
mondiale de l'agriculture
whereby
qui est
they
venu
could
jusqu'ici, qui a rencontré notre
sell
ministre de tutelle.
their product in
Et quand
foreign
il est sorti
markets.
des échanges,
The,
il nous a dit, ah, vous avez du pain sur la planche parce que
there
le
was
miel
a
sera
meeting
exporté. Si
with
l'agriculture, c'est juste enseigner un
our
peu, on
line
n'a pas de
minister,
l'argent. Donc,
but
ce n'est pas notre activité
after that
principale.
meeting,
Voilà la première porte à
you know,
laquelle on peut frapper
the result of the discussion
pour
was not
moderniser
encouraging
la chose et
at
faire
all.
de la Côte d'Ivoire
So
une
I think
destination pour
this
le miel.
is
Voilà la
where we should
spécialité
improve
connue.
situations, if we want
C'est
to
ça notre combat,
uh,
c'est ça notre
improve the
but.
conditions, and if we want to
Et
achieve significant
je ne
results.
suis pas montée avec un stylo, j'ai pas pu noter.
I
Mais si je
don't
note
have
ici qu'il y a
a
des
pen,
réponses que j'ai pas données, peut-être
so
que j'ai
I
pas
couldn't write down your questions. I hope I've answered all the questions
Merci, Madame Cassie.
from head.
On avait la question de
Thank you,
l'intimidation.
madam. I think there was a
Monsieur
question
Philippe, alors, il demandait
by
si
Mr.
on
BC
avait
Philip,
des
who
indicateurs
was asking if
dans le
you
projet
had
au niveau des apiculteurs
a good picture
dans
of
chaque
the
scénario.
impact of your
en
project.
termes de chiffres,
In terms of
si on
figures,
découpe ou bien 5 ou 10, 40%,
drawing
voilà ce que ça nous donne en termes de position
graphics
sociale et autres. On n'a pas ces chiffres, vous
and
allez nous aider à le faire.
statistics, no,
Mais
we don't have this data.
parler
You
du
will help
quotidien,
us for that.
c'est
Now,
que
regarding the
ici en Côte
daily
d'Ivoire, c'est
situation,
difficile de
everyday
parler quand on
situation,
parle
here in Cote
d'élevage.
d'Ivoire,
Parce que
when we
élever,
speak
c'est
about
quoi? Élever, c'est donner à
beekeeping,
manger et c'est soigner.
it's
C'est différent
not
de
actually
éduquer ou on éduque
what's
les êtres humains à apprendre en
happening.
disant ceci est bien, à faire ceci n'est pas bien. Mais
So
élever,
when
c'est
we say
nourrir et soigner.
beekeeping,
Mais nous,
is
nous ne
about
soignons pas nos abeilles.
feeding
Les
and
abeilles, ils sont partout.
taking care of the
Franchement,
bees,
les
but
abeilles,
that's
c'est
not what we are
manger,
doing
manger,
because
et
bees already
on n'a pas
have
de
their
maladie
food.
d'abeilles ici en Côte
So
d'Ivoire.
we don't have
C'est vrai, dans les zones connues, on peut vous dire que les
sicknesses
abeilles sont malades, les
related
familles
to
des banques
bees, not
alimentaires,
like in
il
other
faut compter les
countries
abeilles.
where you will hear
Mais
about
socialement parlant, je vous dis que
the
la présence des abeilles est si
diseases
importante
affecting
que les
bees. We don't
productions
have
sur les
these
plantes à
things
fleurs,
here.
vous multipliez
But
les
here, when you
productions.
have
Donc
bees
forcément,
in
si
your farm,
on est dans un
whatever
champ
the kind of or the species
fertile
of
et qui a
bees
été
that you
créé
have,
en
you
95,
will
non,
um,
je pense en
make profit.
90, parce que le président
In
qui était là en ce moment
1990,
a trouvé important ce que
then
la rivière, il a fait
president
venir des usines de
found
café. Ils
that
ont
this
pris un
activity
espace
was
dans la
important,
rivière,
so
ils ont
he
divisé en
brought
trois, un champ de
people
café
from
et un
Israel.
espace avec
They went in
des filets. Il
Abbeville,
y a des abeilles à
where
l'intérieur
a piece of
un
land
espace
was
avec des filets sans
dedicated
abeilles et
to
un autre espace à l'air libre.
beekeeping with
L'espace
different
où il y
types
avait les
of
filets avec les abeilles à
equipment,
l'intérieur,
nets,
cet espace
and
apportait
other
1 tonne
things.
et demi.
Where
L'espace
nets
où il y
were
avait le filet
applied,
sans abeilles
1 ton and a
n'apportait 1
half
et
was
l'espace à
produced.
la
The
nature
other
produit une
space
tonne.
without
C'est-à-dire que, dépendamment
net
des abeilles, on peut avoir
had
d'autres
no
polluants.
production or less
Mais
production.
les abeilles multiplient votre production. Et dans les pays
So the
développés où
bees
il y a
alone
beaucoup,
will multiply your
vous
production.
avez
In
toutes
developed
les
countries
cultures,
where
que ce
I've
soit
been,
pour produits de pétrole, des
whatever the
gazeux,
type of
je sais pas, d'autres produits,
commodities
peu
that
importe
are
c'est quoi,
grown,
on fait les cultures sous serre et au lieu d'utiliser des
you know,
intrants ou des
they
pesticides
are
à tout vent, comme ici,
done
on
with
multiplie les abeilles. Et ce sont les
nurseries,
abeilles qui aident.
and then
Et pour parler
bees
d'incitation
are
sociale, les
used
gens s'en sortent.
to
Oui, je
facilitate
dis ici en
the
Côte d'Ivoire, c'est une activité
growth of these
complémentaire. Donc, vous menez toujours vos
products.
activités et
And
les abeilles
like I
sont
said,
là.
it
À la période d'indienne, vous
bees
partez, vous avez du travail.
beekeeping
Il n'y a pas
is
besoin de faire de culture de
mostly an
croissance ou de
additional
faire quoi que ce soit.
activity. I
Donc,
mean,
c'est
no,
ça. Vous
usually
pouvez
people
faire, vous
have
gagnez
their
de
main
l'argent parce que ici, c'est
activities
accessible.
and
On n'a
they
pas besoin d'être un
also
particulier.
um,
Euh,
have some beekeeping
notre
activity.
gestionnaire
You
de
don't need to
projet,
have any
selon ce que
specific
les investisseurs
uh,
veulent entendre, on va engranger
qualification to do
aux femmes
that.
à cette
Our
activité ou
projects
bien les
are
enfants. C'est pas
prepared
avec les
based on what
CSE parce que les
investors
CSE n'attirent cette activité.
request. Like, for example,
Malheureusement, ici en Côte d'Ivoire,
women,
telle que nous faisons notre activité,
gender issue
on le
or
fait
children.
la nuit parce qu'on développe
Unfortunately, here in Cote
là-dessus.
d'Ivoire,
Si vous le
we
faites dans la
conduct our
journée,
activities
les abeilles
at
peuvent avoir
night
peur et
because our
aller
bees
sous
are
les
natural
fenêtres
bees.
jusque
If you
sous les
do it
fenêtres.
in
Donc, juste un
daytime,
passant ou quelqu'un
the
qui est
bees can
négligent,
be
les
afraid
abeilles peuvent
and
recevoir des piqûres d'abeilles
scatter
et certaines personnes ne savent
and
même pas ce qu'est une piqûre d'abeille. Elles peuvent en mourir.
sting
Donc, on attend la
people
nuit
from
quand le temps est vraiment froid et
around.
calme. Et
That's why
je
people
vais vous
prefer
dire,
here
ça
to
se
wait
passe
for
en
night
province.
to come
Chez nous, on dit
before
en pleine brousse.
doing their
Combien de
activities
femmes
of
peuvent quitter leur
beekeeping.
foyer la nuit pour
So you
aller
see, this is
récolter
an
le miel?
activity that takes
On récolte le
place
miel la nuit,
at
donc ça fait
night.
que on
How
a plus
many
d'heures de faire.
women do you
Mais
know who are
quand on
able
amène
to
le miel
wake
à la
up at
maison,
night and
la
go
femme
for
aussi
such
traiter le
activities?
miel.
That's the reason why
Les enfants aussi peuvent traiter le miel.
this
Donc ça
part
fait
of the
que pendant
activity is
on s'en
done by
sort.
men. But
Voilà
once the
un
honey is
produit,
brought
une
back home,
limite.
then
Voilà
women
les
will
20
get in the
minutes à faire
process
une
of
épice.
treating the
Surtout quand c'est
product.
vous-même qui avez fait votre rucher, vous pouvez vendre le litre de miel à 10 000 francs. Mais quel est le kilo d'autres produits, d'autres cultures pérennes ici en Côte d'Ivoire
qui vont au-delà de 1000 francs.
When we compare the production of honey to the production of other commodities here in Cote d'Ivoire, we see that there's a difference. If I take the case of
Nous, on parle en termes de
rubber,
kilos. Et pour amener les gens à produire
the price is now. When I started my activity in honey, the price of the kilo was 400. Now, in order to increase the quantity of the production,
sort. Et si on s'en sort, si la famille s'en sort, je ne sais pas ce que
now in order to make people or to make to improve the production, the price was also increased. And you see, a product that can be sold to 1,000 CFA francs per kg is something that can bring something to your life in terms of income. You know, the treatment of honey is exactly this kind of activity. You have your bees that will have a positive impact
pour savoir que
on your farm, because that is what bees
pour celui qui aussi veut en faire un commerce, il peut transformer le
and
miel.
if you then, of course, at the end of the day, you have benefit from different sides. You can
D'un an, de
use
2 ans, pourquoi?
the honey to
Donc, la
make I mean, honey can be used in toothpaste, depending on the age
la
of
vraie propolis qui conserve
the consumers of the toothpaste. So yes, honey can be used for toothpaste.
Et
Honey
quand vous
can
faites tout
also
ça, ceux
be
qui consomment, ça préserve leur vie.
processed into, which gives us so many byproducts that can be produced from
Déjà, en interne,
honey,
on n'arrive pas à ça.
for which you don't really need to have an academic background or any specific training, scientific training. With our facilities, we are able to produce a maximum of 2 tons. Thank God we have better equipment, and today it's possible for us to produce 5 tons of honey. And if you are able to produce 60 tons in 1 year, then of course your income will increase, and you will have the possibility to reimburse any loan that a bank
Un peu la
would have
politique, madame.
given to you.
Nous sommes très honorés de vous avoir avec nous. Nous allons passer
It
au
is a
prochain
real
intervenant.
honor for us to have you with us,
Je vais
madam.
demander à
So it's
Edsola
now time for the next
de
uh,
bien vouloir
SME to come on the stage. Exola Energy, please come on the stage.
et je vais demander à Monsieur Pierre-Joseph Kimbo de bien vouloir venir aussi sur
Mr.
le podium.
Pierre
Après
Joseph,
la présentation de
please
Edsola,
come.
Madame Nathalie pourra faire son intervention.
Bonjour, bonjour à tout le monde.
Good morning to everyone, and thank you for coming. Thank you to the guests and to the investors. My name is Seka Edouard. I'm the manager of ED Solar Industry. I've been in the solar energy for 13 years now. I've been in all the corners of the country. I've been in the hinterland, and I'm back to Abidjan with solutions. Next slide.
Allô.
So this is the outline of my presentation. Next slide. today, the sector of solar energy is confronted with many challenges because we need to have a good control of the product, and this is a real challenge for us because of the bad competition. One speaker spoke about the unlawful, the illegal competition. You know, in neighboring countries, they have applied tax exemption to all the equipment related to uh, solar energy, Burkina, Mali, etc. But here, where tax are still applied, we still have to go through a mechanism to import the goods by train. We purchase the equipment from Burkina and it is imported by train, which is not safe for the equipment. And this is part of our difficulties because the one who is selling these equipment is coming now on the market. So it's a person who imports his equipment in his country without any tax, and they will come to our country to sell his um equipment on the local market. I think our authorities should apply the tax exemption like other countries did it. If there should be a quick solution to the energy crisis, this measure should contribute to the design of such a solution. It would be a relief for the customers that we have and for the populations in general. Going to meet a bank or an investor, you know, for such a project in solar energy is not easy at all because they do not know exactly what is the content of the solar energy. They cannot measure it. Therefore, we need to have donors, we need to have firms, consultancy firms that are also, I mean, whose services are also very important. And it's all part of the challenges we are confronted with. Now, coming to the support of the financial institutions, this is what we are all waiting for. Now, from the small experience that we have so far, I went to Subre in some villages where there's no power. They were all in darkness. Some of them were equipped with power generators. When I went there, the first thing I did was to go with uh, a full kit. If you are interested, you pay, and I install your kit. Some of them who knew about solar energy saw that my solution was better instead of having to go to town to come back with a technician to do everything. What I was offering them was fully prepared, a one stand equipment. So one day in a village, someone told me, "Well, I've installed the solar panels here, but uh, these panels are not working." When I went behind his house, I saw four power generators who were not working anymore. I asked him, "How much money do you need to operate these generators?" So he explained to me, and I understood that it was taking him a lot of money. I made a quick calculation for him to make him understand that in 1 year he would spend 1,600,000. I asked him uh, uh, since when he was using these generators. He told me 4 years approximately, and I made a calculation for him. In 8 years, somebody who spends 4,500 per day would spend 8 millions, which is different from the one stand kit that I was offering. After my demonstration, he woke up and he brought people. He left with people. I was in a village where I didn't understand the language. I was surprised when they left like that. I thought they were angry, but they went and they came back to me. They asked me how much do we are we going to pay this. I gave him the price, and he paid for his equipment. And since then, he has been provided with electricity in good conditions. Now that he has his own power generated by solar energy, he his daily life has been improved. Charging his uh, telephone had become something easier. And after 6 months only, his capacity was increased. The impact is that poverty has been reduced and value was added. In this example, if I had the necessary quantity of equipment for these populations, I think we would have done great things for that village. That's why I'm coming to you this afternoon to present to you these solutions that will be very helpful to our parents in the villages. So women in rural areas with this equipment are can have better income generating activities. Now today, the solar sector, solar energy sector is confronted with difficulties. I told you about the competition, but also access to equipment. Right now, even those who had never heard about solar energy are interested in it because of the current power outage situation. In addition to the fact that they cannot have power, but the appliances that are used in the house can be damaged by this situation. So the solar energy is seen as a solution. If today, from now to 6 months, if we want to find an alternative to power generators and power supply, this one is the best solution. So today, our customers are well identified. We know who our competitors are. For instance, alternative energy here in the room, AD Solar, Yondalux, North Trading, many competitors. Somebody told me that this is a bottomless pit. Uh, though we have so many companies in the sector, each of them has his portion. And in Cote d'Ivoire, 23 experts were trained on solar energy, and I'm part of those 23 experts. It was a GIZ project with the state of Cote d'Ivoire. But not many persons have a good mastery of solar energy because it's not only about installing solar panels, it's about having a system that can be resilient after 5 or 10 years, and it requires professionals. And on this, I can tell the donors and the investors that we are professionals, and we have testimonies that have been publicized in newspapers. This story of that colonel who had since the day he started using solar energy, he didn't need anymore to use his usual um, electricity meter. Now, the investment budget. Today, the solar industry is looking for funds, 600 millions. Why 600 millions? Let me give you a simple example. Whenever you buy products from a retailer, there's a cost. But when you buy it from a gross seller, then a bulk seller, it's different. If you go to buy one solar panel, for example, one solar panel, if I make a 600 million investment, the panel that I can buy 35,000 normally will cost 19,000 in this case. And instead of 60,000, I will spend 19,000. You can see the difference. Now the converter, which normally costs 700,000, would cost 320,000 instead of 700,000. So for my company to be more attractive, cost-wise, because cost of installation is an hindrance, because people complain that it's expensive. But if somebody comes, for example, to say, if you have 1.5 million instead of 3 millions, I can make your installation. I think you will choose that opportunity. Yes, I'm trying to make profit, but I'm not going to focus on the equipment for my profit, but for the service that I will be providing. And with subsequent investment, I think I will have the possibility to offer uh, more affordable services to my customers. This is an example of funding, an example of impact that can be achieved by such funding of 600 million. If I have 800 persons who are interested by solar energy, well, I go to the bank, I say, these are people who are ready to buy, to purchase this equipment. The equipment is there, the customers are there. So my interface will be the bank, and the bank will talk to the customers. So for me, it is very important to invest in my sector so that we can make it very attractive and well measured. And all the installations normally should be declared to the uh, state, so that we know exactly the mapping of installed devices. But the state doesn't know, the government doesn't know where these equipment have been installed. So the strategy is the one I've just presented to you. There's going to be uh, a team in charge of sales, because what people do not know is that with solar energy you can um, organize your consumption of energy in your house. Like, for example, you can use solar energy for uh, lighting only, because for me, I think when there's a lot of power, it can be dangerous for my family. So I will use solar energy only for lighting. Um, and then maybe I will want to connect the refrigerator to solar energy as well. So we have people who have different interests to solar energy, and we need to have a good approach in presenting this service to them, because he who is interested in solar energy, is somebody who needs to be reassured and to be guided and advised on how the equipment or the solar energy should be acquired. You know, what is also important is to make sure that what the customers need is delivered. I said 600 millions, but when I'm going to sell, I'm not going to get 600 millions, which means that I will get uh, twice or three times more than that. But with a good strategy, I will be the one to offer better solutions and conditions in the sector. To this regard, we analyzed these possibilities with in the context of housing project, 200 megawatts, for example, for um, a project of 200 houses. In such an example, if we have such a housing project implemented, we would have 200 megawatts of electricity supplied to this project, so that and this power would be delivered to the uh, customers, and this would generate money. So my example is that I need a house, and with the house I will need power, and this is for example, a possibility to build a house with solar energy included to the construction project. If you want, for example, to have a house built with some specific material, uh, this project could be implemented with the application of solar energy during the construction. The profitability of such a project is clear. Next slide.
Donc, je suis allé plus vite.
So I went fast. This is the need of the company. We can start with the first stage of 180 million, then 480, followed by 540 million over 2 years. Those are the perspectives. And by purchasing, it can solve many problems. I'm going fast because I know you're tired, and the more you speak, the more you're tired. So these are some of the examples of what we have done. This is the diaspora. The lady seated here, she's an engineer in solar panel. Next slide, please. This was a project that was important for the President Emmanuel Macron. It was realized in Dongvai. You can search on the internet. It was a project for the empowerment of women in rural areas, because a lady called Marina met Emmanuel Macron in India, and he asked her, what do you need? She said, we have some issue grounding our cassava. So he told her, we are going to provide this. So we installed this solar panel, which help them ground the cassava and process the product. Now they are selling pig food, and they are grounding the product, and they have electricity to do many other things. And this is a measurable impact. In 2020, the company Ivos that transform and treat industrial waste. If you have a waste that you can't put in soil, it is prohibited. They have a product a mechanism that they burn your waste and gather all the ashes and destroy them completely, so that it is not discarded in nature. So those are some of the examples that we have realized. Those are the boilers, thermal boilers, that help to get some hot water in household, in even industrial areas, for hotel and others. Next slide. Thank you for your attention. This was my brief presentation. If there are some questions, I'm willing to answer. Thank you very much.
Merci, c'était une très belle présentation.
Thank you very much for this brilliant presentation. What I liked is the need to have a national policy which can be good for solar panel, can be conducive for solar panel. I've seen in Tunisia that the solar panel and boilers, thermal boilers, are exempt of taxation. I know it because I wanted to bring back thermal, it's a solar boiler. I had to pay taxes because I'm not Tunisian. And also there is the issue of the installation of solar panel. To install this equipment, I had to install it 3 times, and the 3rd time was the good. It started working at the 3rd time. So we also have an issue of well-trained installers. And you mentioned that, and you said you benefited from the training from JZ. It was
Voilà pour mon commentaire. Alors, je vais
this is my comment.
Est-ce que vous avez des questions à poser?
Do you have some question?
Votre micro n'est pas activé.
Allô?
S'il vous plaît, est-ce que quelqu'un peut aider madame? J'ai votre masque. Oui, je ne sais pas. Mettez les
Oui, moi j'aurais une petite question, une petite précision parce que je suis pas sûre d'avoir.
I want to have some precision in terms of the financing that you need. Are you looking for a stock? Is it a production material or equipment? Exactly, that's it.
Parce qu'en fait, en termes de financement, comment dire, une entreprise, elle a plusieurs phases dans sa vie. Et en fait,
the company has a life cycle. There are some financing tools adapted to each phase of this cycle. What I understand is that you need short-term financing. It is a working capital fund. You need a financing of a working capital since it is a stock that you're trying to finance. It is not the working capital per se. It is to have the mastering of the market and to implement a policy to become a leader in the market, to lead the market through the material available and especially becoming competitive in terms of cost.
Pour rebondir sur la question de madame, à l'heure actuelle, quand un client passe commande,
currently when a client when the client wants something, you also have to ask another client of yours to be able to provide the product. The source of financing that the company needs depends also on the position of the life cycle. Like if the company is kicking off in phase of increase, so the financing depends on which stage you are. If the difficulty, I think, for some entrepreneur to find some funding, they have, on the basis, they have to identify the types of project, because the financiers can specialize by type of project. They're also on the stage of the life cycle of the company, because the needs are different. And indeed, a company who is really starting defining the prototype won't get the financing from the bank, or won't find some donors to finance the project. But if you say, for example, the lender is asking for 2 or 3 years, what they're asking is to see whether the project will have the necessary cash flow to repay the debt. At the level of the financiers, those who are willing to invest in terms of equity investment, for them, and it is going to be a profitability that they will await according to the timeline that they have previously defined, and also according to the risk. In the sector of financing of activities of impact, the notion of passion capital is gaining more ground. The capital passion, what it is, they are investors specialized in the financing of impact project, but who will wait. They won't come out after four years. They will wait a little longer for a project to be at the stage of maturity before coming up and asking for the reimbursement. They also have requirements of profitability that are less, because they know the stakes of the project. They know that the project must develop because it is a long-term project. So, according to your problematic, you will say that it is a stock and it is some. You will need a same level of stock. You are not able to. You want to provide the requested demand from your customer. And what is also with what we are seeing also currently, everything related to the economic part of solidarity nowadays, an inclusive economy, in a sense that we want to implicate all the stakeholders. I would prefer to say that the company is opening to integrate all the process of understanding of all the stakeholders. You also have the possibility with your suppliers, your customers, to create a system of financing, and also to gain the collaboration of your customers, which can also be a good start, and can also reassure the financiers. I won't give a course on finance, but we all know that the banker wants to be sure to get back his money invested. The stakeholder want to make sure, the shareholder wants to make sure that he's going to get back his money, because he's the last on the list to get the money. So if there is nothing at the end, he will lose. So nowadays, the financiers are more interested in the quality of the project. What is the issue or the stakes, the quality of management. You can have a brilliant and excellent idea, but if there is no good leadership from the project holder, all the people who are there to support the project holder, who are there to support him. And that is why
beaucoup d'investisseurs, lorsqu'ils choisissent d'investir dans une entreprise,
you will have investors when they decide to invest in a company, they will be very specific by focusing on the person, the project holder, to see whether the person is able to make the project successful. That is why the project holder must be supported and trained. And also, I would like to ask a question of the lady to see whether they are able to get access to green financing. Indeed, the reason is simple. When a bank lends you money, the money is not theirs. They're taking other person's money to give you. Every person who will subscribe obligation, bond, social bonds, they say, I want to invest in a company that will have a positive social and environmental impact. So if the funds are really comes with a lot of conditions, it is because they have rules and they have obligation. All the process about what the company will invest to reach the objective of social environmental impact. That's why we insist that the business plan must be based on impact objectives, and the way the process, all the knowledge necessary to have a positive impact and to reach those impacts. And if the company receive these types of financing, they have to make sure that the impact objective are reached, and also the entrepreneur must do everything possible to reach the objectives. The challenge, what I have to say concerning the way the entrepreneur will justify the impact that he wants to bring up. Those are the requirements, because it is very well controlled and oversight. The question was coming from another person, but I wanted also to bring my perspective into it. Thank you.
Thank you for that. I understand. We're open to that, and we're sure that this is going to allow us to be better and stronger, and looking at the return on investments and the functioning of the activity. I think that we can even go further, because today it's just the stock that we're looking for, and it's not the money. It's really, we're trying to have a partner, not just money, so that when we say here's the supplier, you can talk with the supplier. But what we want to reassure you of is that if you let us know that you agree before the equipment come, is that we within ourselves must find half of the clients, so that when the equipment arrives, half is already sold. So I think that this is something that could be of great interest, because when you send the equipment, you know that half of it is already sold before it arrives to destination. And as I said earlier, I forgot the exact name of it, but there is this power of purchasing, for example. So this is something that could be of great interest. So ideally, for you, it'd be that you invest so that the production be made here. I think that it would be good for the transfer of technology. That would create employment. It would be a real opportunity, and it would be a great opportunity for Cote d'Ivoire. Thank you very much for that suggestion. I think that that's a great source of encouragement. Thank you, Missa, for that intervention. And this is what I saw in Tunisia. There in Tunisia, the solar panels are built on sites. They are built within the country. Are there any questions? Yeah, yes, I have a comment to make. In Algeria, also, there are the production of solar panels locally, and based on what that was said by Mrs. Theo on the requirements for those that would bring the funds for everything that you presented, because you're in the solar energy sector, so that you can understand the legitimacy of not impacting the environment and but you never talked about the funds for this that were mentioned yesterday, because we talked about the managing of waste, because the at the end of its life, these solar panels need to be processed, and it's also going to be your responsibility, because if I come to you to calculate your emissions of these gases, then I need to be able to count on the fact that there has been these agreements that are signed, so that at the end of the use of the solar panels, that they will be returned. And I think that it's important that this factor be integrated, and that this also be part of your economic model. Why not? And I would greatly encourage you to do this
C'est bien noté et
and to control the greenhouse
voilà,
gases.
à des
I
fins
think that this is well noted, and I think that
de
this is going to put an end to this
adaptation
presentation from AVS Solar,
et des solars industriels.
AV Solar industry. So
Moi, j'ai
I
EDC,
what I have here
solar
written is
industriel.
that this name, yes, that's it. That's the correct name. Once
Voilà.
again, I would just want to thank everybody, and I would like to say answer the question and say that for the batteries, all of the batteries are uh, collected by us and recycled. So they are returned to the supplier through a mechanism that exists on the market here. And there's, of course, a small fee that is paid back to us and for the collection of this, and the fact that we send these in back so that they could be recycled. And I think there are panels that have a life span of 20 years. And
C'est une autre société.
I'm sorry, but your time has come to an end, and we're going to have another company come up
Mais
now. So I would like to coop Duff to prepare so that they can be ready for their presentation.
Doumbia,
Mr. Dumbia, please. Mr. Dumbia, are you there?
excusez-moi. Oui, non, non, merci. C'est un échantillon. Oui.
Ou alors, je vais peut-être. Allô?
Hello, can everybody hear me? Okay, so we're just going to go directly to the slide. I would like to first say good evening to everybody that is here. My name is Mr. Dumbia Mamadou. I work for the University Unit of Expertise and Advice for Agricultural Development, known by its French acronym CUECDA. And our objective is sustainable agriculture for a healthy environment. So, and this is in the large sense, in a very general manager. So, we're going to express our needs and what we think that we can bring to this sector of activity. Next slide, please. So, I think that we can go over the summary. We can, because we're going to go through all of the different points. It should be said that the agricultural sector represents 40% of the GDP in Côte d'Ivoire, the agricultural products that act have a negative impacts on the government. You have the use of chemical products in these fields. You have lack of knowledge on the organizational tools and the management that is needed for these different farms, and the inexistence of policies for the supplying of the agricultural inputs. So we notice that there's need for fertilizers by these agricultures, but it's not this period where they have the financial means for this. There's normally a gap between the time where they have what they need and where their needs are, and the availability of the finances for them to have these. So this makes it so that the suppliers take advantage of this situation, and the different inputs that could be normally 5,000 CFA, because they know that these farmers cannot pay it. It is done given to them as a loan for three times the price, for 15,000 CFA, so that they can wait for the harvest season. If, for example, for cocoa, they know that in November or December there will be this cycle that will develop where all his life he will always be in debt because he's getting these inputs and the things that he needs when he doesn't have the money to really have it. So he's forced into credit. So this impacts the production. This also impacts greatly the life of the farmer. And this is the vital chain of this, the vital part of this chain. And you can see that they are suffering because of this. And this is linked to the lack of available funds during the time where they need these inputs. And this is the solution that we want to offer. We talk about the environment that's degrading. We talk about the loss of fertility of the different farms and the loss of production. So, what we've tried to do over a certain amount of time with the evolution of agriculture product, we carried out research to try to develop a input that is biodegradable that we call Vitable Plus, and this came out from the research that was carried out by the researchers at the university. And this is not done by compost. This is made from the waste, organic waste that has been fermented from our kitchens, from the different waste from the harvest, and different woods that we use in the fermentation process, but not composting, because composting takes a certain amount of months, about 3 to 5, to function, and it uses a lot of space. The use of compost that we have to use for 1 hectare to fertilize it for cocoa, we need 10 tons to 15 tons. But with the biodegradable inputs that we made available, it is used in the same proportion, in the same quantities as the chemical input, and it is ready after just 2 weeks instead of 4 months. So the recycling of these household waste and those fermented waste can be done much faster based on the system that we have. So we developed this input that really ensures a good fertility for the different grounds and will allow added value for the production within the agricultural sector in the country. Next slide, please. So our business model, as I said it, is the following. We think that the farmer, after a certain time, no longer has the resources and was forced to take these different products on credit as a loan. And then when they sell their harvest, they take all of their money just to pay their debts. It's a vicious cycle, and they remain poor. So we imagined a system that we call the Green Reform in Cote d'Ivoire. And this reform, what is it about? This is that we will take into account the farmland of the farmer. We come with the inputs, the fertilizers. We work with them, and we train up the different persons that are working, the staff that are working on the farms, and we work with them. And it's not the prices of the was given for these credits for these loans where it's increased prices. No, we give it to them for a regular price, and we allow them to pay on the cycle of life of the harvest. So this cocoa is on 6 months. That means that his bill for 1 year, if we are there, it's 680,000 for 1 hectare. And when the harvest begins, he will pay this at 680,000 over the course of 6 months. So it's about 100,000 sefa per month from the time of the harvest going. But what we need is the support that will allow us to uh, help them get through this time before they get to the harvest. So there you have the system that we put in place. And indeed, we noticed that there's a good opportunity there for this because we already had pilot phases where there was really a strong interest, but we didn't have the resources to take all of these different farms that were interested in stock. So there you have the different solutions. Here you see that it's a circular economy because the products are the inputs that we created. We make it available for the farmers. It's not, uh, we don't give it to them as a loan with the increase, with these drastic price increases that are 3 times the regular price. No, we give it to them for a reasonable price. And then on the market, the place, in terms of biodegradable products, we can say that there is competition that exists. So we've listed some of the competitors here, but what we can say that we bring to the table is that our product is not imported. The majority of the biodegradable products are imported, so they generate this employment in other countries as where our product generates income within the country. So this is an added bonus. Next slide. Now these are just the forecasted numbers that we've had for the years to come. You can see that they are based on the numbers that we've had in 2019 and this so far in 2020 going into 2021. So this brings us to the end of our presentation. So thank you very much. Thank you for your presentation, which was very concise, straight to the point. Well, the question that I'm asking myself, and I'm not a specialist on the question as concerns agriculture, but I would like to know the farmers in Cote d'Ivoire, have they really adopted? Are they favorable to this biodegradable inputs? Because I think that they are really used to and favor these chemical inputs because Cote d'Ivoire is the first world producer for many agricultural products. Uh, and I think that it's a lot of this is based on the strong use of these chemical inputs. So I would like to know if you've carried out any studies and if you know if the farmers are conscious of this, or are they ready to use these types of products? Are they favorable? Do they are they interested in this type of input, this biodegradable input? That's the question that I'm asking myself. Well, I could say that for the use of biodegradable inputs, indeed, I can say that there's work to do as far as awareness raising and informing, but I think that we've already started. And when we go towards the farmers, we don't really use the term bio or biodegradable, and I'll explain how. First, the input is about how much it increases the yield, and we first carried out experiments. We have fields where we put our product on one side and use the competition on the other side of the field. And I think that at the end, when they see the yield, that's where they take the decision. So it comes from a lot of effort that we make. So they see that the price is very competitive and that it helps them with their objective, which is to increase the yield. So I think that that's where the question really lies. You see, we also have a way of working. We mix this we our product with other products that allows for a very good yield. So uh, it's really about the quality that we offer for these harvests. So slowly but surely, we are going out in the field and we're showing them what our product can do. You know, if you go and you try to explain to them, no, this is biodegradable, and go into these details, it's going to be a problem. But we just tell them that it's an input and it's a better input. We compare it against other inputs on the field so that they can just see for themselves, and that's how we win. Are there any questions? Yes, I have a question. My question, I followed with much attention your intervention. I liked your presentation, and there's something that I was expecting to see, but that I didn't see. You said a little bit earlier that you have a you have a portion uh, with the Vital Plus that you are using and other inputs, but you did not talk about the impact on the productivity for 1 hectare. And this would be interesting to know. Yes, indeed, indeed. As far as the impact that our product has on the first year for cocoa, we see that we have an increase of approximately 30% because we applied this solution. And then starting from the second year, because it's used every 6 months, starting from the second year of production, we see that we see a approximately 50% increase in yield. So please tell me, what are the crops on which uh, this product can be used, and other than, what are the other crops that can be used? This is the advantage of the using bio products. You know, this is transversal. You know, when you take a heap of trash, for example, where people dropped off trash, after a certain time, you will see that there will be all types of different crops that will start growing on this, because each of these plants will find what is necessary for its growth. So there could be cassava, there will be all types of different crops that can grow. So we've carried out these experiments in a bungalow, and we tried this on several different crops, and we have the documents of this, and it is copyrighted. So we did take the time to copyright, and we did that since 2014. So I think it's really for all of these crops that this product can function well based on this. Thank you very much. I would like to congratulate you for this initiative and the will to really have a sustainable model. But I would like to understand the business model just a little bit better. If I understand correctly, this is a all-in-one solution, basically, because you take into account the you bring the inputs, you bring all of this, then you. And the second thing, so so what is the target for this, so that we can better understand your production, so I can imagine that you are scaled up. So if at all, if what is your capacity to
What's the capacity to answer, provide answers? According to the pilot phase, the need to use the chemical fertilizer, it is not for love or for preference, because it doesn't have any other alternative. So he's forced to use this type of agriculture. But the market is faced with the obligation to meet the criteria or the expectation of the market. So currently, what are the guarantees that this system can provide to farmers based on its ability to meet their expectation? I'll start answering by responding to this last question. We said that this product is drawn from the cocoa shell. So Cote d'Ivoire produced 2 million of cocoa shells. So when it represents 60% of the weight of cocoa, it represents an amount of 6 million of cocoa shell available. So there's no shortage. So the cocoa shell represents only 20% of the composition of the fertilizers. For the others, they are related to. We designed a system where we'll have some bags in the household where we will make the selection of the waste in the household. So the element that can be fermented will be put aside, and the fertilizer, as I said, it's not compost. It needs 2 weeks to be ready, unlike the compost, which is done in 2 or 4 months. So the speed of the recycling allow us to provide answers to these needs. We produce 40 tons per week. It is 60 tons in the month. So we can reach 10 liters per month. We can go beyond. And we use 2 liters for an acre of cocoa. So those are factors that allow us to use this product. Concerning the readiness of our scheme, we don't use we only use the crops which are already producing. So within 3 or 6 months, the farmer should be reimbursed. So the person who is going to support us when they harvest, he must be able to have his return on investment. If it is cashew nuts, if it is in the second phase, when we reach our full capacity, we'll be able to provide reach the profitable aspect. I thought I provided answer to your question. Is everything okay? Thank you, Mr. Doumbia. Thank you, Mr. Doumbia. If you need some more documentation, Mr. Doumbia has provided some documentation. And there is also a platform of all companies who will be available. So the dialogues and the exchange will be done. At the level of the campus, we are there to when we started the project, we didn't get some support. We went till the industrialization ourselves. Our role is to take into account the concerns of the academia. Once we have it, the council will now deal with the selling. This is the relation that we want to establish between us and the private actors. We have lots of solutions. The biopesticides, starting then being able to develop other projects, but those who would be interested in developing ideas of research or to get support in innovative actions, we can provide some assistance to them. thank you for your effort in this field. Thank you very much.
L'entreprise suivante. Alors,
I would like to call the company, the next company on my list. I have Mrs. Nathalie.
Alors, sinon, j'ai EcoPlus.
If not, I have Eco Plus.
Mubembe.
I have Mrs. Dokas Mibembe.
Alors, je vais voir les messieurs de la technique. On a
I'm going to see with the technique. We have two companies who are really online. Before the two companies in the room gets ready to start talking.
Serait-il possible de prendre l'entreprise en ligne?
Is it possible to start with the company online? The company that is connected to start.
Allô, Vanessa, est-ce que tu sais si l'entreprise est toujours en ligne? Ah, elle s'est déconnectée, ok. Oh là là, dommage. Alors, qui est prêt dans la salle? Parce que j'ai appelé. OL, ok. Ah, OL en ligne? Ok, d'accord, on peut les prendre.
OL is on.
Allô? Allô?
I can see a coil is connected.
Allô?
A coil is connected.
Allô? Oui, oui, je peux. D'accord. Allô? Bonjour, est-ce qu'on m'entend?
Can you hear me?
Allô? Allô, bonjour, chers à tous.
Can you hear me?
Je suis OL International.
I am OL International.
Je suis OL International et donc vous allez m'excuser parce que je suis
I'm sorry.
mission. Je suis pas
I'm on mission. I'm not on the.
bien que mal présenté.
I'm away from my office, but I'll try my best to present the company. OL International is a company specialized in building housing. We decided to focus on environment friendly housing. We use the soil to make some bricks.
Alors, vous m'entendez?
Can you hear me?
Allô?
Oui, on vous entend très bien.
D'accord. Alors, donc, aujourd'hui, OL International veut se
So
positionner.
nowadays, right now, OL International wants to get a good position on the market. We are already leader in the field. We started the realization of the housing. The problem in Cote d'Ivoire is the issue of housing. We noticed that an average Ivorian is paid around 200,000 CFA. With 200,000 CFA, they cannot they cannot afford the housing, which amounts to 60 million as proposed by the companies. So the solution that we are proposing is to have ecologic housing. When we create those bricks, there are less CO2 emission, and it is also economic, so we have 30% of reduction. And also the constitution allow us to have a 30% economy. The bricks can be moved.
Plus de 21 mètres carrés par jour. Donc, en 3 semaines, nous pourrons finir une maison.
In 3 weeks, we can complete the construction of a house. Besides the economical aspect, we have the durability or the sustainability of the house. We have also the resistance, the proven resistance demonstrated by study carried out by laboratories. I think here you can see the durability aspect, because clients usually ask me what can be the durability of this house for them. They think that at the first rain, this house will collapse. So it is 7 times solid. The more it rains on the bricks, it becomes harder. You will see the more it rains on the clay, it becomes solid. And you will see even the house built by some of it in the past, and you will see that the price of the cement has increased from 70,000. We moved to 70,000 to 120,000 for 1 ton of cement. And since it is very hot, we use the air conditioner extensively. With this type of construction, the temperature is maintained, and the outside temperature is not influenced, doesn't have an influence on the interior temperature. So you don't need to keep running the air conditioner the whole day. To solve the issue of housing in Côte d'Ivoire, we encourage you to use the BTCS, the brick compound clay. On the market, we've realized social housing for teachers, for doctors, for nursery. We are the leader of the market currently, and the project that we are realizing is in Ire, where we are working currently. We have hundreds of housing to build there. So we create, our target is the public, the general public. We talk with the local authorities of the Nawa, for instance. We also work with the regional council of the Ifu region. We also work with the DDAV local authorities, and also working with the government in the implementation of the social housing. We also implement in the region of Kawadougou 20 dozens of toilets, and also in the region of the Poro, we are doing around 30 toilets to solve the issue of clean toilets in the rural areas. For the private, we're also helping Ivorians to get affordable housing, also implementing protocol with some mutual to implement their housing project. And in this sense, we need financing. In this sense, also for the strategy we are putting in place, the financial need on the short term is that we need to reinforce our equipment due to the high demand. We have currently 5 market. We want to add 3 market and launch our housing real estate company for the diaspora. We need on the short term 10 billion for the short term financing. For the medium term financing, we will need 20 billion for the acquisition of land tenure, because for what we have so far, we started doing some promotion on the land. So on the medium term, we will need to buy more lands, because for real estate company, you have to have a good mastering of the land tenure. So we have good proposal in the region of Grand Abidjan. To mention Songon, Bécherville, Songon. And the short term, we will also realize estate promotion for the civil servants and any other person is willing to have a house. This is the unit production. We are here in Ire, and this is the production team with the different chief of team. You see behind there is a lady behind driving the machine. We have 2 house testimony on the right side. There are 3 or 4 bedroom. We will build hundreds of housing of this type. So what I want to say to conclude is that while International is positioned as a leader for housing, for environment-friendly housing, we'd like to promote real estate to allow Ivorians to see the ecological housing. We already selected sites such as Sangon, Bécherville, and Bassam, and we have some mutuals who have already signed the convention. Now we need some support in the financing of these real estate promotion. Thank you very much. Thank you. It is a very good presentation that you've made. But related to your financial need, there are some aspects on which you didn't clarify. Are you the one manufacturing the bricks in clay that you use to make this sustainable building? It is not the géobéton, it is an improved system of what you said. We already have, it is a stabilized clay block. So since there is an increase in the demand, we decided to reinforce our equipment. Would like to thank the presenter for this presentation. But we didn't get the knowledge about the cost of the housing that she proposed, and we don't know concretely concerning the other offer that exists. We also want to have an idea of the cost. Thank you.
Alors, on peut revenir sur les 2 maisons.
We can come back on the 2 testimony house that are presented. The first one is a 3-bedroom. This is a building which comprises of many apartments, flats. The 2-bedroom here will cost 5 million, and the 3-bedroom will cost, the 2-bedroom will cost 8 million, and the first one will cost 5 million. For the mutual of doctors, we have a different plan for the gendarme, we have different plan for the for any other person. We have different price. For the 3-bedroom, you have it at 8 million, and for the 2-bedroom, you have it at 5 million. If it was a regular product, the first one would be 8 million and the other one will be 10 million. With the BTS, you have 30% of reduction on grid construction, big constructions. Did we provide an answer to your question? Due to time constraints and with all our apologies, we are going to conclude the presentation of OL and ask Sercom to make the presentation. All the information regarding OL are available. You can contact Green Invest if you want to have more information. You can contact us and we are going to give you the contact of OL. I also invite you to visit the stand of OL at the Grid Technology Expo if you want to know more. And they have a stand in the, please go see them for more information. And you will know more on all the projects of OL. Thank you. You have the floor.
Allô? Donc, je suis Elingui Pascal Uriel.
My name is Elingui Pascal Uriel. I'm the Director of Innovation at Serco Group. I'm representing Dr. Alain Akeshi, who who couldn't come here. Our project is a project of a project that gives you the possibility to share vehicles. So this is the outline of my presentation to see now which problem we have identified. If you go out now and you take 2 minutes observing the traffic, you will see that many vehicles have only 1 or 2 passengers, which makes a lot of room that could have been used by other people. Now, how do we reduce this sort of waste? Because car pollution is one of the most important. Now, among the problems that we are trying to solve here, we have the fact that when you take any commuting device in Abidjan, you can be attacked in the vehicle. Sometimes also you don't have change. You want to pay, but the driver is not taking you because you don't have the exact change. So how do we solve these issues? Well, this is the reason behind the creation of this solution, Open Warren, which is a carpooling solution. People in Abidjan, you know, when they want to go from Yopougon to Plateau, for example, they will take one vehicle and then another vehicle. So how do we make sure that these people can take only one vehicle from Yopougon to Plateau, a long distance, which is an average distance? This solution looks like a BlaBlaCar that we know about in France. For this, we need to collect geolocalization information about people and the destinations that they want to reach. Here you have 2 boxes. And this is an existing solution. In 3 or 4 months times, we will launch this. Let me explain to you how it works. I'm here at the plateau. I want to go to plateau. And there are vehicles that uh, go that way. So what I do is to take this application and to set my location. I can also choose the condition in which I want to be in the vehicle, with other people or alone. So once I do this on the map, I see a vehicle, an indication about a vehicle that is available. The difference with Yango is that as I do it, there are many other persons who are doing it and who are going to take the same vehicle. It's not one customer only, but up to 4 customers that will be taken. So once the vehicle arrives, we will share the cost, the fees of the transportation. So we will, like this, we are going to pay less for the uh, uh, service. And in case there is an attack, I mean, in terms of safety, it is better because all those who will use the application will be in the database. The driver will be in the database as well. This is the problem that we solve. And how do we solve it? We do it with this application called the O Warren. In the car, when you get on the market, when you get in the car, there's a means to pay. So you will get there before, you will pay, but what happens is that you are going to pay once you get to destination. Now the market, you see that all the vehicles driving in Abidjan can be our partners. So we have 70% of cars that are taxis and 30% of private vehicles which can be partners of the application. Now the local competitors are Yango, but Yango is one customer per car. That is the basic difference with us. Now, what is the strategy for the implementation of the solution? It is very simple. Most of the inhabitants of Abidjan use different routes to commute. Not many of them will use only one car to go to their destination. They will take the bus, combine it with the taxi, common taxi. So with this solution, the impact on the environment is that there will be fewer cars that will be requested by customers. Now the budget of the project. We have 20 engineers in this project with a budget of 200 millions. And for the upcoming 6 months, the operating capital is 150 millions, which are going to be used for marketing, communication, for tracking and deployment. This is what this money is needed for. Thank you. This is it. If you have questions, I'm open.
Est-ce qu'on a une question dans l'assistance, s'il vous plaît?
Merci pour votre présentation.
Thank you, sir, for your presentation. Congratulations for the job intended to improve the mobility of the Ivorian people. You spoke about Yango as your competitor, which is true, but there is another competitor you didn't mention. that is DigiTrans, and DigiTrans is already operational at Abidjan, and you come with your solution and you are almost in the same field. So my question is to know what makes you different from DigiTrans, because their solution is also carpooling. When you want to go to a place, you make a reservation. Sometimes you can make a reservation the day before, like tomorrow at 8 o'clock. You want to go to a specific site, you set your pickup point, then you receive a message to notify or to confirm the availability of the car. When it is time, you go to the pickup point to uh, board the car. So my question is to know what is the difference between your solution, and Digitrans. How many people here know Digitrans? One person. Well, so first thing is that they are not known. This is first thing. And what we are bringing is a system whereby the route that I want to, I mean, the service I need is a service for now, immediately. And payment, we have a solution that includes payment device. So the issue of a change is solved. The passengers are identified in advance. I don't really know Digitrans, so it's difficult for me to make a comparison. But what I can tell you right now is that this is a solution for an immediate need, not for a reservation 1 day or 2 days before. Thank you. This is a very interesting solution, but I'm trying to capture what you are saying very well, because for people who have their car, people are used to staying alone in their own vehicles. Now, are the people going on the same direction as me, um, to be alone in their cars, or what? What we do is to stop somewhere for all the seats to be taken before moving, or is it a situation in which the cars are going to drive and pick people on the way? Well, in Africa, we didn't have cars before, uh, and then cars came and we adapted to it. So what is going to happen is that we are in a situation where it's like you are afraid, because you fear that somebody you don't know might get in your car and rob you or do anything that you were not expecting. Uh, so for some people, this is what they fear. So some will refuse to take passengers, but what we are offering here is that at least among the 30% of people who have their private car can have access to this application. It would be good for us, for our business.
Bonsoir, je suis Laure. Je vous dis merci pour cette solution que vous
My name is
avez
Law,
permis
and I
d'accompagner
thank you for this solution that you are bringing to us who do not yet have a car and who are commuters, public commuters in Abidjan. Well, I have a question about the management of payment, because there are many difficulties related to change. Sometimes you don't have change, you can get in, but tell me exactly, how do you manage with the payment in order to avoid having problems with change, the issue of change? Thank you, madam. How do we manage the change issue? In the application, you have a payment uh, uh, option. Like, for example, I know that 10 times per month I take a vehicle to go to work or to go to some specific place. it works like an electronic wallet. So I can put some money in my, I can make a deposit of money in on my e-wallet, so that the driver who also has the e-wallet through the application can receive payment from e-wallet to e-wallet. So in this case, with this application, the driver will not receive the money until you validate the transaction. Only when you validate the transaction, once you are at destination, uh, the driver will receive your money in his e-wallet. One last question, if I still have time. Otherwise, I will stop here. Thank you. This is a very interesting business. Congratulations. I have questions regarding the price, the pricing. Mm, Maybe other people have the same question. Now, regarding the pricing, in order to to make money deposit in the e-wallet, uh, how do you do that? How do you deposit money on the e-wallet? The second question is related to a previous question. Is it a solution in which the car will be parked somewhere waiting for customers, or just pick up people while driving, while in the traffic? Thank you for your question. And yes, I had forgotten that question. Sorry about that. Now, regarding payment, what you do is to make money deposit on your e-wallet. You can make that deposit through the existing options, Orange, MTN, or Move. You make your deposit once a month, and then you can use that money. Now, regarding how the customers are going to be picked up. Yes, the car is not going to park somewhere. No, the customers do not go to the car, but it's the car that will drive down to each customer that will be collected. Uh, if you guys happen to be in the same on the same spot, then it's okay. But the principle is that the car will drive around to collect the customers, to pick up the customers. We know that this is the early phase of your project, and I know that there are subsidies available, and I think that is where you should go, because banks, they prefer to work with projects that have been ongoing for 3 or 2 years. So this is a good project. Thank you. So if company buy your bag from Burkina Faso is online, we are going to take them. Can the technicians check that the company from Burkina Faso is online? Mrs. Traore.
Bonjour.
On t'entend et on te voit.
Oui, ça va bien. Allô?
Hello, we can hear and we can see you.
Moi, je me suis présenté. Moi, je me suis présenté simplement.
Vous pouvez présenter votre nom, vous avez
Pas
merci.
du tout, il n'y a pas de volume.
We can hear you very well.
Madame Traoré, vous avez la parole.
Il n'y a pas de volume. Allô? Allô?
Oui, Madame Traoré, nous, on vous entend très bien. Vous pouvez
Oui,
commencer.
moi, je ne vous entends pas. Allô?
Allez-y. Oui.
Je me reconnecte pour voir.
Non, on vous entend très bien. Vous pouvez continuer.
Allô? Bon, je me reconnecte pour voir.
Madame Traoré,
Bonjour.
vous pouvez commencer. On vous
Vous
entend très
m'entendez?
bien.
Yes, Traoré, we can hear you. You can proceed with your presentation.
Oui, on vous entend très bien. Vous pouvez commencer.
Ok. Moi, je suis Madame Traoré.
I am Mrs. Traoré Aissa.
On vous entend très bien.
We can hear you very well, Mrs. Traoré. Son micro coupé.
Madame Traoré, est-ce que vous êtes avec nous? Madame Traoré, on vous entend très bien. Vous pouvez commencer la présentation.
Ok. Moi, je suis Madame Traoré Aïssa.
la directrice.
I am Mrs. Traoré Aisha, director of the company BioBag Burkina Faso. BioBag is a company who manufactures paper bag to fight against paper plastic. The company was created in 2015, but we started the activity in 2016. The beginning of the business, I started alone by myself with some with a maximum of 50,000 for the first year, and 2016. In 2017, I hired 5 employees with a turnover of 5 million. Is not enough, but since people are not used to paper bag, it was difficult to sensitize, despite of the fact that the law was voted. In 2018, I was at a turnover of more than 24 million. In 2019, I had a turnover of 30 million. In 2020, I was at 34 million. This is just to show you, to draw the picture of how the company BioBag is evolving. At this point, we are at the level where we want to really make the company grow. We can't hear the speaker anymore. Let's say with our own equity, it is a little bit difficult to operate, and we need some financing to make the company grow and go further, and to boost Burkina Faso and in the sub-region. Currently in the country, we have reached 300,000 of waste per year. There is a huge market. There's a law that has been voted, but which is not enforced in Burkina Faso. So it is difficult. But I think people are changing their mindset. With a few years, I've noticed that people are changing their behavior, and I can see that many more people are more interested, and currently we're not even able to meet the demand of the market. And so in sum up, this is BioBag.
La solution, c'est le produit.
So the solution is the product. The problem is the paper, is the plastic bag. I can say currently in my car driving, and I'm calling you while driving. I can show you this reality in front of me. All what you're saying are plastic bag, and most of the time they put the food in the plastic bag to eat, and it can provoke cancer, and it is not appropriate. People don't know. When we get in touch with people, they don't know exactly the danger that they are running when they use paper plastic bag to package the food. People see the immediate, and they say, I'm using the paper, I've done what I could do, I've bought my product, I go home, I had my paper, my plastic bag, and for the rest, I don't care. But behind that, they're not aware of the fact that we need to sensitize them. And some of them have started understanding. They said no to plastic bag. It kills our livestock, and 50% of the livestock die because of plastic bags. The solution is paper bag. They are biodegradable, recyclable. They are practical. They are aesthetic because you can communicate with it. You can brand your company, and it shows that we went to this company to get this bag in In 2014, the law has been voted, and we're working with the Minister of Environment, which is currently, it has promised to adopt some sanctions on the use of plastic bags. And I think thanks to the sanctions, we won't be able to meet the demand if we don't scale up our scope of activity. Currently, I'm 100% sure that I won't be able to operate with my own money. I won't be able to pay the staff. We are trying to increase the business, have a bigger headquarters, but we need money for that. Currently, if I'm told, if a company tells me that Mrs. Traoré, I want 100,000 bags, by the end of the week, it's going to be tricky for me. I will have to hire more people, and this needs additional resources, and it won't be fast as I want. When you hire people, you have to make some follow-up, some oversight. So it is difficult for us. The demand comes from Burkina, Mali, Niger. We deliver in Burkina, in Mali, in Niger. Sometimes we even refuse some demand from the customers. When a customer comes, he really wants to have quickly his product, to be able to sell his own product.
Par mois, ce que nous pouvons produire, c'est ce que je vous ai dit tout de suite, que si un client
If a customer asks for 100,000 bags, it's going to be difficult. We can only deliver 25,000 bags per month. We have two types of bag. There's the rounded one and there's the squarely bag. The rectangle type of bag takes more time to be manufactured compared to, when I talk about simple bag, it is a type of the sandwich one, the bread, or maybe the pharmacy type of bag that is given to customers. Currently, we have reached a turnover of more than 40 million. Our competitors currently is Eco Design, which is also operating with on an art and a crafting way. We also have importers of paper plastic, because most of our customers use the hard plastic. They also use a personalized bag. The real problem are those who go to China and bring back tons of plastic bag. In Burkina, we have Sonacer. We have Sonacer also, which import plastic bag.
Notre stratégie, pour réduire l'impact environnemental, c'est vraiment
our strategy to reduce the environmental impact. We are also working on the recycling of bottle, of PET. We also want to put in place to do some sensitizing to collect the waste, the plastic waste post-production, to recycle in order to transform them into other objects. We want to make some We want to ground them to export and change the strategy of collection of the plastic waste. And because we want to focus on the paper bag production.
Avec les études que nous avons fait et puis avec l'étude que nous avons fait et puis
on the basis of the study conducted and the price of the equipment that we have, on a short term, I think we need at least 686 million francs CFA to be able to acquire a new machine for the manufacturing of paper bag, to have a good to be able to put in place good raw material and a policy of collection of plastic, and also have an equipment to operate. We use the paper bag to operate because we are giving another life to the bag, because we reuse them and we know that people will use and throw it away, and we know that it is biodegradable, but we can recycle those papers to turn them into paper toilets. And this is our scope. On the longer term, we want investment amounting 1 billion francs CFA on the longer term to implement all our ideas to save our environment in Burkina and in the sub-region, the West African sub-region. Thank you for your kind attention. I don't know whether you got my message. I'm moving ups and down. We want to have your product in the whole West Africa so that we don't see paper plastic around us everywhere. I'm going to ask the audience if they have, if there is any question for Mrs. Traoré.
Apparemment, Madame Traoré, vous avez été tellement clair qu'il n'y a pas de
Mrs. Traoré, I
question.
think apparently you have been so clear in the message that there is no question for you.
Merci.
Thank you.
Alors, on va bien prendre note de votre contact et puis on va
We will note your contact and make a follow-up with you
à propos des investisseurs
concerning the investors who would be interested by your product or your company and who would provide some financing. In your business, in what you do, there is the financial and the profitability aspect, and there is the environment friendly aspect. Based on our experiment last year, we saw that there were some donors who were more interested by the activity of recycling and the ecological aspect of the projects presented to the green marketplace. I have good hopes that you will receive a feedback, and on that said, I would like to thank you, and please put your hands together to congratulate Mrs. Traoré. She was. Thank you. If Winning Light is ready, we can welcome them.
Non, Winning Light.
Winning Light is that ready?
Alors, si
If
Winning,
Winning Light is not ready, is Agro Impact ready?
Bonsoir à tous. Germain
Good
Nkomo,
afternoon, everyone. I'm
chargé
Germain
d'opération
Kumo,
chez Impactom.
Chief of Operation in
Je vais
Impactcom.
présenter la structure
I'm going to
Impactom.
present our company.
Déjà, pour parler brièvement d'Impactom,
To brief,
Impactom est une ONG qui a été créée
Impactcom is
dans
an
le domaine du développement
ONG
durable.
created in the field of sustainable development, which implements a transformational in the concept of agriculture and forest. In this frame, we've been able to work with some companies of the private sector and also with OSCs. And in the frame of the implementation of our approach, our transformational approach, we've been focusing on the agroforestry of reforestation and conservation. Talking about reforestation implies the production of plants. So we have limited capacity, which are limited to what our donors are asking for in terms of plants. There is a high demand on the market. We've put in place a company called Agro Impact, which is a company which provides equipment for climate smart, for smart agriculture, which takes into account the challenge of climate change and adaptation to the ecosystem. The question is, Côte d'Ivoire lost millions of acres of forest since 1970, and based on the study of Mighty Earth, the Côte d'Ivoire state, through its policy of conservation, preservation, and the extension of forests, have decided to restore 1.5 million acres of forest by 2030. If you make a quick calculation for the density of 1,000 tree plants for acres, we will find ourselves with 5 million acres of forest. Currently, the data we have show that we are not able to meet the demand, the needs of in terms of forest. So we will be facing some challenges in terms of providing trees and forests. This is the demand we're trying to provide answer to. We work for the digitalization and the geo-referencement, the referencing of data related to the process of agriculture and forest. Those are digital services for remuneration of payment, digital payments of farmers. First of all, we have product related to digital materials, the production, transport, and marketing of agricultural seeds and forest seeds. Next slide, please. In the frame of the market opportunity, Agro Impact intends to put in place 27 sites of tree plants over the 5 next year. When we see the need to restore 1.5 million of forest, we see that 8 million is inferior to the demand of the market. So our target are the agriculture cooperatives, the Cocoa Coffee Council that has started a huge program of agroforestry and decided to distribute plants for the planting. the minister also talked about the planting activity, which is ongoing since many years now, and we have now a day dedicated to 1 day to plant 50 million trees. So we have the target. To speak about the needs, we intend to produce 500 tree plants and then move to 1 million, 1.5, 1.5, 2 million, and then 3 million over the 5 years, and 8 million in total over the 5 years. 5 years. We have the operating cost on these 27 nursery trees. We'll have 880 million for the first year. The selling cost of the will be 250 francs CFA, so we'll have 125 million for the first year. The gross margin will be will not generate profit for the first year, and they will have a benefit of 1 billion 138 million for a gross margin of 400 million for the over the 5 years. So we see, based on this presentation, you can see that the project will be autonomous through the selling of tree plants. In terms of gross margin, based on the investment, we have 43%, which corresponds to the gross margin, and 57%, which corresponds to investment. Next slide. Beyond the capacity of providing trade for reforestation, the technology which is used by agro-impact will help to master the usage of water on the nursery plant. This is a thematic that is very important, the mastering of water through irrigation systems. To drop water, to use in an optimal way the water which is at the disposal. We also have the reasonable use of fertilizers. So you can see some nursery plant which has been put in place through our different projects with different partners. I've tried my best to be short. Thank you for your kind attention. If you have any question or suggestion, feel free to make them known. I would like to have some clarification regarding the market and your needs. You went from the rate of deforestation and the need for reforestation. You consider that all the trees to be replanted represent a market for agro-impact. As I said, in the frame of the policy of the ministry, the objective is to restore 1.5 million acres of tree by 2030. So the calculation is simple. If we use a density of 1,000 plants for the acre for the restoration of degraded forest, we find ourselves with 5 million of need in terms of reforestation to replant the 5 acres of forest. So we are focusing on the objective of the ministry, and also we know that the program of reforestation integrate the agro-industry and the CCC, which is a huge program of supply of trees to the cocoa farmer, which amount to 80 million. We see that the need of trees is very high and which is not covered by the current market. Thank you. Do we have questions from the audience?
Bon, j'ai une autre question et ça va peut-être être la dernière. C'est par rapport
I
à
have the question, maybe it will be the last. Concerning the profitability, I see that you have a gross margin of 33%. Exactly, you're right.
Oui, la marge brute est de 43%.
Yes, the gross margin is of 43%. Please put your hand together. I have a question. Thank you for this presentation, sir. I didn't get clearly the financial need of the company.
Ok, dans le tableau qui présente les charges,
The board that are presented and which presented the expenses of Apres Midi for the first year. We have 180 million
les 27 sites de pépinière. Voilà.
of charges of
Agro-Impact est capable de
with time Agro Impact will be able to finance during the first 2 years the implementation of the nursery where Agro Impact will be able to auto finance.
Merci, j'ai apprécié cette très belle présentation. Je vais vous demander.
Thank you for this presentation. Please put your hand together to congratulate him.
Alors, on avait une participante qui était en ligne depuis la.
We had a participant online from DRC. We lost, and then we contacted and we lost her due to technical issues. Is she connected with us?
Oui, je suis là.
C'est Madame Dorcas de RDC.
We have Madame Dorcas Moumembe. Are you connected or is she connected?
Madame Dorcas, vous avez la parole.
Vous avez la parole.
Madame Dorcas, vous avez la parole.
Est-ce que vous nous entendez?
Oui, moi je vous
Mrs.
entends.
Dorcas, you have the floor. Can you hear us? Where I'm currently is very noisy. Shall I start? Yes, please.
J'attends des slides.
I'm waiting for the slides to kick off with my presentation.
Bonsoir.
Good afternoon. My name is Dorcas Mumembe. My name is Dorcas Mubembe. EcoPlus is in the fabrication, in the manufacturing of paper bag based on the banana fibers. Next slide, please. Can you hear me? Yes, we can hear you. For this presentation, I'm going to expose the problem that we targeted, the solutions that we provided, the market that we've touched, and the customers and the competitors, they need the financial investment need, the strategies put in place for the reduction of the environmental impact, the financial need, and then the conclusion. So to start, I would say that many studies have proven that plastics in general last more than one century to degrade, and the situation in Kinshasa is deplorable. Every year, 1 million trees are cut for the fabrication of paper, for the manufacturing of paper, whereas Kinshasa on its own produces 10,000 tons of banana, which represent an important amount. The banana is a sustainable tree. That's why we put in place if an environment-friendly alternative and create a circular economy to preserve our natural heritage and reduce the deforestation and also reduce the production which emit greenhouse gases. We produce paper bags based on banana fibers, banana tree fibers, and seems we've lost the speaker. We can't hear. We're not hearing any sound coming from the speaker. Shall I proceed?
Oui, on vous entend très bien.
Yes, we can hear you very well.
Alors,
So I was saying that those are biodegradable bags manufactured from banana fiber. These packaging are hydrophobic, means they can contain oil and water and contain up to 50 kilos of weight. For the manufacturing of the paper, we collect the product from the periphery, from the neighborhood of Kinshasa, and then we mix, and then after mixing, we dry the paper.
est-ce qu'on peut défiler les slides, s'il vous plaît? Ça, j'ai déjà passé. OK. Pour les marchés, je dirais depuis
For the market, I can say that since the creation of the world, there's no company manufacturing paper bag in the country. In 2017, the former Prime Minister emitted a decree prohibiting the importation and use of paper plastic, but this has not been enforced due to lack of alternative. This shows that there is a market there. The city of Kinshasa comprises of 15 million of inhabitants, and 30% of this population is ready to change the behavior to protect the environment. We have a production of 2,000 bags per month with only 3 tons of banana trees, and we generate almost they can't hear the speaker clearly. We're losing the speaker. The speaker is having an internet connectivity issue. On our economic model, we're trying to personalize the bag, and we also create logos and the branding of the company to put it on the bags for those who don't have the capacity to do it. For the customers, we have 85% over 100, which is comprised of companies, and then 15% are normal citizens. We have OK Plus for the competitors. The competitors, we have OK Plus, Ola Emballage, Emika Emballage, Gotko Emballage, and one of them has been prohibited. For the rest, they import the raw material, whereas us, we we use our local raw material. That's the difference between my company and theirs. For the investment budget, it will be breaking down as this 55% for material investment and 27% for non-material investment and 18% for the working capital.
Est-ce qu'on peut faire défiler, s'il vous plaît?
Please, let's move with the slide, the next slide. The reduction of the environmental impact. The process we are using, we are not polluting the environment. We use what is considered as a waste, an agricultural waste to produce bag and packaging. This is very important because we protect the investment. On the long term, we will need $300,000 to initialize the process from the fiber up until the packaging. On the medium and long term, we want to grow slowly. We need $15,000 to adapt to machine to use them on a local way. We have the capacity to manufacture 3,000 bags, and then with time we'll be able to produce to manufacture 10,000 bags. Our partners, we have Total, Bolloré, RD Congo Kinshasa 2020 for the Olympic Francophone game. Seems we've lost the speaker. It seems we've lost the speaker. We can't hear. We're not receiving any sound from the speaker.
Alors, en moins d'une année, nous avons été capables de...
In less than 1 year, we have been able to gain market from bigger companies such as Bolloré, Total, and we've also signed some contract. The speaker is breaking. We're not hearing the sound clearly. For the next coming years, we'll be more efficient. To conclude, I would have to call on everyone to say that here and now we should think of the future. With EcoPlus, we commit to recycle the agricultural waste. Thank you for your kind attention. Thank you for this presentation, lady. I've learned a lot. We have learned a lot. We didn't know that we could use the banana tree fibers to make some paper bag.
En tout cas, merci pour cette très très belle initiative.
Thank you for this beautiful initiative. Do we have any questions from the audience? You have the floor. I would like to thank the lady for the initiative. As you said, it is a discovery. We have lots of banana trees which are lost. We didn't know that we could bring up an added value to it. I would like to know the source of supply, the banana trunk. Does she go to industrial exploitation, which are huge producer of banana? or does she go to local producers, smaller producing companies? Who fixes the selling price of this raw material? The added value to this raw material allow for gaining profit to be able to sustain the production and to maintain the activity over time. The second question is related to partnership. We see that she got some partnership with some important partners, some important companies. I would like to know the relation between is it a client partnership or a supplier partnership? In other terms, the partners presented are just the client or they're just supplying all the input.
Merci pour votre question.
Thank you for your question.
Je vais y répondre. Pour la rentabilité, oui,
Concerning the profitability, the project is profitable because we progress every day, every month, every year. We notice some profitability. The project generate profit. Regarding the source of income, the source of supply we supply from the neighborhood of Kinshasa. We are looking to expand in other province, other regions. It has not been implemented yet, but we're working with the farmers and we're working with collective, with cooperative or banana producers. This is our source of supply. And then the companies that have presented with Total, it is a partnership, and for the Francophonie game, and Bolloré is a partner with which we work.
En tout cas, merci madame et bravo, bravo, bravo pour votre initiative.
Thank you for the initiative and congratulations for the work done.
Bonsoir à tous. Je suis
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Vanessa Quadio from the team Green Invest Africa and for the organizing team. I'm in charge of the whole support of the SMEs. Some of you present here know me. Thank you for coming. In the name of the team West Africa and the team Green Days, I would like to thank you. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for all the SMEs who have been able to be present. I'd like to also thank the SMEs online and thank you for the interest that you granted to our event. Thank you and thank you for from the team. And also I apologize for all these change in the timeline. And to conclude, just note that Green Invest Africa will not stop with the Green Days Africa. As the name is clear, we will go all over Africa since it is an African initiative, and we expect your support. And also, we will support you and to be able to capture the necessary resource for your expansion. And we meet tomorrow for the following, to follow up on the different activities. Thank you, Vanessa.
Madame
Mrs. Dorcas. Mrs. Dorcas Movembe, thank you for being online from Congo Kinshasa. And we will come back to you with good news. Thank you for the initiative and thank you for taking part in this Green Market Talk. Thank you very much and goodbye. Goodbye.